What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Late Late Show with Dago. Hope you're all having a great night tonight, and I appreciate you guys joining me for the show tonight. These late shows, for those of you that are new coming to these, we talk about whatever we talk about. There's no set topic. We just get into it and talk about it until we're done talking about it. So thank you guys so very much once again for joining me for the Late Late Show with Dago. Come on in, grab a seat, get your drinks, get comfortable, and let's do this thing, guys. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Ride that bass line. What up, everybody? Welcome back to the cafe for the Late Late Show. Not to be confused with the Late Show, and not to be confused with the Late Show, but better yet, the Late Late Show with Dago. Welcome, and thank you for joining me tonight. I hope everybody is having a uneventful, wonderful evening. And it's always a pleasure for me to be able to end the evening with all of you. So thank you for being here, and thank you for joining me again and again and again. Come on in, grab a seat, get comfortable, and let's do this thing. All right. There is the first of the Dixie Chicks. Hello, Miss Kimber.
Hello, Dago.
How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm just wonderful. Thank you for asking.
How was your day?
It was a day. It was good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
I'm very
Makes
happy that I could join you on the late show.
that's not no, that's the other that's that other show. Mine's the late show tonight.
Oh, okay.
The late show comes on like way later.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. I was thinking about changing it since I seem to have the same panel of guests every night to the late show with Dago and the Dixies. So, you know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
Dago and the Dixies. Hey, it's got a nice ring.
Mm-hmm. See, there's only one of you though. The other two don't want to be bothered with me tonight, obviously. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Salty might be salty with me, and Mama Bear or Jesus, Mom Mind of Monsters might be Mind of Monstering somewhere. I don't know.
I don't know.
Only 9 p.m. there. It's 11:01 here.
It's 10. No, it's 11:01 where Mom's at.
Right?
Mom is on your time. Salty's on my time.
Yeah. So I doubt that Salty's sleeping, but then again, she seemed kind of tired the other night, so she could be.
She could be.
Who knows? You sound way more awake than normal, so this might last for a while. You fell out last night pretty quick,
I did.
but you did take one of them damn gummies. So
No, I didn't. I just fell out.
I thought you said you took a gummy.
No. I guess
Oh.
talking about them just made me tired.
It could be. You never know. Good Lord. Okay, there we go.
Hi, Miss Barbara.
Come on in, everybody. Grab a seat, get
Hi,
comfortable.
everyone.
Come on down, folks. Speaking of folks, who do we have in here tonight? Looks like Wicked Angela. Welcome back, Chris Gideon. Great to see you. Tomboy Charm. Hopefully it's not too late for you. Miss Paula, good to see you tonight as well. Miss Barbara, always a pleasure to see you, darling. Thank you for joining me tonight. Miss Carrie Wallingford, great to see you again. Crimson Moon, welcome back to you. Let's see. Lala. La 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 la. Welcome back, Lala. Good to see you. Miranda Wright. Thank you for joining us tonight. Emily Pickles. Hello, hello. Are you related to Tommy Pickles by any chance? We'll have to talk about that. Sending you good karma in the house. Love the name. Good to see you. Miss Tina B. Hello, hello. Welcome back to you. Butterfly 71. Great to see you. Grits 79. Welcome back to you. And let's see. Lisa Oldham. Welcome. Groot. What is going on with you tonight? Great to see you. Let me see here. Mystery, welcome back. Great to see you. Great to have you here. Did I miss somebody? Hold on. Andy Rose, welcome. I hope you're not too tired. Andy fell asleep last night too. Welcome back, Jules. Good to see you. Dandy Lioness, welcome back. Great to have you here. Teresa S, great to see you. Miss Evie Marie, what a pleasure to see you. One second, please. Just being a Raven, Yvonne. Murder Candy podcast with Avery. Good to see you. Marcy's in the house. Welcome back, Marcy. Great to see you. Juno, hello, hello. Good to see you tonight. There's my Doodlebug. Good to see you, Doodle. Good to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Lisa Vallejo, good to see you tonight. Smartass Patriots in the house. Welcome back. Shauna Marks, good to see you tonight. Thank you for joining us. Romper Stomper Boo. Tell me true. Swear to God, that's what I'm doing sometimes. Mikey on the mic is in the house. What's going on, brother? Good to see you tonight. Thank you for joining me. Are we getting to the top here? Upstate New York housewife. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Miss Diana R, thank you for being here. Please make sure all of you awesome people, all 138 of you, don't forget to hit that button as it's right there. It's right there to the right. Look to your right real quick as you come through that door and that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Just one time, y'all. Please, one time. Sweetie Cake, welcome back. Break Time 5, great to see you. Green-eyed PI, always a pleasure. Nope, not today. Good to see you as well. Thank you for joining us. And that I do agree with. 100% lost her mind. Miss Trish Crow, thank you for joining us. Great to see you tonight. Tomboy was the first in the house. How about that one, Tomboy? Miss SRB's in the house. Isn't it past your bedtime, little girl? You better be careful. I know you got a trip you're going on here. Whispers in the Shadows, welcome to you. Love your name. Nicole Seefeld, thank you for joining us tonight. The Deflectionist is in the house. Welcome back. Carl Ferguson, how are you, my friend? Good to see you tonight. Blue Jeans and Coffee Beans. Welcome, welcome. Astro from Space. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Come on, come on, come on. Come on in, everybody. 147 people and 70 likes, guys. Please, 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 please hit that button. Brandy B, the OG, you just popped in here. I see ya. Ganja Mama, hello, hello. Naomi B, welcome back to you. Meemaw, hello, hello, welcome. Good to see you. Smoke 2 joints if I want to. I smoke 2 joints in the morning. Smoke 2 joints at night. I don't know why I started singing that song. I see Ganja Mama and it reminded me of that song. Are you still here, Kimber? Did you fall asleep already?
I did not fall asleep already.
Okay, just checking. Newman 25, welcome back, my friend. Miss Sherry, the Wisdom Speaks, is in the house. Good to see you. Alicia J, welcome back to you. Come on, come on. And again, thank you to everybody that's kind of hanging around out there by the door, just kind of watching. Thank you as well. I appreciate you all so very much. But please, please, please make sure to hit that button. Elaine G. We got Newman 25. We got Elaine. We're missing a couple of people. We need Kramer. We need Jerry. Come on. Come on. We can do it. We can do it. Hit the button. Hit the button. Please hit the button. Smash the like, pocket watchers. Chris Kress. Hello. Chris Kress will make you jump. Jump. Lisa G. Hello. Welcome. Bobby Old Dude. What's up, my friend? Good to see you. A little more testosterone. I always love seeing Bobby pop in here. That way I know I'm not completely and totally surrounded. The Bellas. Oh, it doesn't matter. It does. I got a whole bunch of Southern Bells up here, usually with me every night. So that would make a little sense, though. Lee Bird, what's going on? Good to see you tonight. Come on in, everybody. 157 peeps in here. 93 likes. If you hit that like button, please put a 1 in the chat for me. How about that? And if you didn't, give me a 2. Kitty Cat, how are you tonight? Good to see you. Hope you're having a great night tonight. Oh, it's so weird wearing headphones. I feel like I'm screaming at you guys. Sending you good karma. I love that name. Peggy
Why
Sue.
are you wearing headphones?
Because I'm hearing things and I was running with different things. So I needed to.
Hearing things, huh?
I was hearing certain things and I had background noise going on and I was in Clue's stream over there. Let me see. WNC Granny, welcome back. Good to see you tonight. Welcome to all the meatballs. Thank you guys for joining us and jumping in the sauce tonight so we can spill some of that sauce. Not instead of spilling the tea, we spill the sauce. See? And thank you to the Blue Group for joining me. For those of you that are here, I do appreciate you guys because I would not, could not, nor should not ever try to run these shows without you guys. So thank you very much. Those are all my moderators. I humped like, what the hell, Doodle? I humped the like so it's 111. Oh my God, I can't anymore. This woman is, I think she's clinically insane. That's all I can. I love her beyond anything on the planet. I'm telling you, but I think she's insane at this point. She's crazy. Yes, the blue crew. You are in the blue crew if you're a mod here. Say that again. She said it. I didn't say it, Doodle or Tomboy. She said I humped the like, so it's 111. Like that, I guess. Butterfly 71. Welcome to the sauce. Another new meatball. Thank you for joining. All right, guys, we're in the algorithm at 101 likes. You guys are amazing. So very amazing. Thank you for that. Miss Crimson Moon, hello, hello. I said the mods. I have the best mods in YouTube. I do. Doc is in the house. Latina, how are you tonight? Hola to you. Thank you for joining us, dear. Yes, you are the blue crew, Tomboy. If you guys look down, you're all carrying around little blue wrenches, so you're a blue crew. They came up with that. Don't blame it on me. Miranda, right? Candy Linus. There we go. Thank you, SRB. Where is Cassie at tonight? She's younger than you, and you're in here still, Mom. APRN 35. Welcome. MKM chats. Kendra, hello. And welcome. Oh my god, that scared the hell out of me.
There's Mom.
I've never heard
Hello.
I've never heard that with these headphones on, and they're turned all the way up, and that little pop, it sounded like my head exploded. Hello, Mom.
What? Me. I'm over here grabbing him ears.
Welcome. That's number 2.
Yard pop.
Huh?
Thank you, sir.
You
the
are
stream yard
welcome.
pop.
Yes.
Dago is
setting him
having
up.
issues. Dago's having issues tonight. He's hearing things.
What is that?
I don't know.
Oh.
It's my keyboard cleaner stuffs. That's how I froze my eyebrow the other day because I'm an idiot. And see this little thing here? See that little tab there? I was trying to figure out how to use this. I'd never had this before. So I'm sitting here playing with it and doing this, and I turned it this way, and I'm going like this, and then I went to do that and pushed, and it went. Thank God I didn't get it in my eye, but it froze my eyebrow. About fell off. You know,
my mama always said it's fun and games till somebody loses an eye.
Faux show.
Hello, Mini Mushroom, Dandelions, everybody in chat. Hello.
Welcome, Minister.
Barbara.
Joanne, good to see you tonight. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful night. And hopefully we can make it end well as well. Doodle
Elizabeth.
Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me, Doodle. No. You cannot laugh at me. And actually, you can't laugh at me of all people because you do some very strange things. So we'll just leave it at that. Okay.
Synthetic Botox.
Prime Paula, SRB, Tomboy, Chris, Hero, Dandy, Wisdom.
I do have one of those.
Hi, Tomba.
I need one of those, Tomboy. I have it on my Amazon wish list thing. It's like this electric thing that charges and you spray all your stuff down with it. And I don't have to worry about freezing my face off with the nitrous oxide or whatever the hell this stuff is.
An electric duster? Ooh.
Yep.
He's fancy.
It's on my wish list. One day. Thank you, Miss Sherry.
Hi, Wisdom.
Wisdom speech.
Ma'am.
You better take it easy there, Doodle, laughing at me, or I'll bring you up here with me and make you talk.
I thought Doodle had been telling us she was going to go live.
She's going to very soon. We are going to go live, her and I both together.
Yes.
She says, so how cold does it get? Asking for a friend, smartass. It gets very cold. Very cold. I'm pretty sure this is the same stuff. Well, first of all, when you spray it, the can is like ice cold. I think this is the same stuff they use to freeze like warts off people's hands and stuff. I'm telling you, it sure as hell feels like it. Yes, it does freeze your skin, Carrie.
No, Dago hung up on us on the live stream. He just said, well, bye.
I was done with y'all. I said, I'm out. Peace. Bye. No, stupid StreamYard glitch that it's been doing that to me. I don't know why. I was sitting here talking away and bye. One of them, I think it was Mom, said, Dago, you hung up? I said, no, I didn't, but it was gone. So
I did it one night. Me and Kimber and Salty was over on the front porch, and I was just talking away and went to change tabs and ended the live.
Mm-hmm.
he just poofed out. I was gone. I'm sorry for those of you that were here, guys. I didn't do it. StreamYard's been doing some very, very strange things lately. So my apologies that it happened. But thank you guys for joining me again tonight.
Why did you just sound like the guy from Hogan's Heroes?
I know nothing.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I have these weird ass accent breaks when I'm talking sometimes that just come out of nowhere where I'll start talking like I'm English or Hispanic or I don't know what the hell. I'm ADHD, Kimber. What the hell? Why would you ask me a question like that?
Well, I do that too, so it's okay. I was just wondering why you chose the guy from Hogan's Heroes, but it's okay.
I'm just saying. Mel's Bells. Mel's Bells is it? Oh, Mel's Bells. Christina Rain, good to see you. Where is Salty at?
Salty may be sleeping. I think I told her earlier she was tired.
Okay, I understand. Liz W, how are you? Miss Barbara, thank you for joining us tonight. KCG, what's going on with you? Thank you, SRB, very much. Your ex-husband accidentally put that mint fresh stuff in his eye. He thought he grabbed Bison. Is that why he's your ex-husband? Because he wasn't that smart. Wait a minute. Nope, it's not working. Hold on a minute. Let me try it one more time. We gotta reach way back here. There it is. God.
I didn't know what the hell he was doing. I thought he cheesed and slid off his cracker.
That was hard. She was fighting me. I was trying to get her up here. I got her there. She's up here. Hello, Salty. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Hi, Salty. There you are.
I'm good. There's the Dixies. I told everybody I was going to change this to wait, what did I say now?
The Late Show with Dago and the Dixies.
There you go. That's it.
That's right. Hey, y'all.
Hello.
Are you tired tonight, Miss Salty?
Yeah. Tired, but
you don't have to stay. It's understandable.
I'm relaxing. I'm chilling. What are you guys doing?
Same thing. So I think tonight it's my turn to go to sleep while we're up here. What do you think, guys?
I wish my body knew what. I wish my brain and body knew what that word even meant my entire life. It is what it is. When it catches up to me, I go to sleep. When I finally need it, I end up getting it. But that's weird to say it like that. But when my body can't take no more, I finally get it. I guess
when she can't take no more, she finally gets it. I think kind of how I am because I don't sleep for shit either. So,
but you can be tired, but then when you actually like go to bed, it's like, do you go to sleep or not? Usually not.
Nope. I'm too thick. There's too much to think about, and your brain is like, we're not done yet. I don't know what you think you're doing, but you're not done yet. So, you lay there and stare at that ceiling while we do what we're doing over here. Okay.
Yeah, my brain's been a little too many tabs open the last few days, but it's all good.
God,
it's all good.
Yeah, if my brain was like a computer, it would probably override because I got tabs open all the way around for the past year. So yeah, it is what it is. Welcome, Nicole Seafelt, Marie T.N., Natalie Scanlon. Hello. And everybody in chat, please say hello to the Dixies, as I call them, Miss Kimber, Mom, and Salty Sleuth. Thank you
Hello.
for that.
Hello, chat.
Let's see, Kimber's sleeping already.
I'm not sleeping. Dago, stop it.
I love it. I think I'm gonna start a poll. Like, you know how they have those block polls like for sports and stuff like that, and we're gonna all buy. I'm gonna sell squares on it to see what time of the show that I do that Kimber falls asleep on, and we'll see if we can get some money going, like a gambling thing. You know what I mean? We'll split it with you, Kimber.
Phil does crime
That's nice
bingo.
of you.
Whoa! Like all three of you spoke at once. What happened?
Lag. Phil does crime bingo.
Oh, okay, there you go. That
It's
sounds
pretty
kind of
cool.
fun, actually.
I lose because I work, but so I lose almost every time. But it's a lot of fun. It's like a bingo card with like random stuff on there, and you'd be surprised at how many of like these weird things pop up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, let's do it again. Let me see. Keep the.
Butterfly, just play a video and Kimber will fall asleep.
Looks like the baby, the kid can't even make it from here to the. There's two of him again. See, what'd you do to your StreamYard? You broke it.
It ain't me. It's this ghost here. Stop it.
Oh, dude. Did you smudge yet? Did you do the things?
I didn't have no time yet. I will.
No time.
Just keep spraying yourself in the face with the keyboard cleaner. You'll be all right.
Eventually, till I'm brain damaged. Sure, I bet I will be.
Some Florida water.
Yeah, I did.
Meaning to brain freeze. Hi, Debbie Clark.
Hello, Miss Debbie. How are you tonight? Lori, not feelings. Welcome to you. B. Williams, welcome back. Marcy, I love this right here. Because I love Charlie Brown and Peanuts, and that character. I love it. Love it, love it. Dago froze time. I wish I could do that. If I could do that, I'd have went back like long time ago, back when I was still skinny and could still walk up and down the stairs.
I think the government has strict instructions not to clone Dago.
Why? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if there was two of me up here with you three right now? That would be quite
two lucky yous.
That would be hella interesting. Hello, Miss Clue. How are ya?
Hello.
Kim Cloyd. Thank you very much for that, Miss Kim. I appreciate that. Yes, yippee. Yeah, I don't think Clue's gonna be joining us tonight. She's ready for bed. Very much so. That hand thing, she's taking her Tylenol ibuprofen cocktails and it's making her tired.
You know, you never realize how much you use your hands until you injure one, and it's like everything is just it's a whole thing.
And especially when it's your dominant hand and you can't use it. And yeah. And then you want to use it and you can't use it.
Welcome.
Broken.
Yes, I've been there, done that. Welcome, Kath. Thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoy your time here. Very much. Clue is sleepy. Yeah, she's gonna be real sleepy pretty soon too, I'm sure. Let's see. How fun would two of you be? You guys could not handle it. I promise you, I couldn't handle it. So I know you couldn't. I'd be arguing with myself. Imagine that.
I had a boxer's fracture on my right hand, and it was my dominant hand.
You had what?
A boxer's fracture on my right hand.
A what?
A boxer's
just that.
fracture.
She
What the
punched
heck?
somebody. Kimberfoot done punched some damn body.
That's all you
Boxer
need.
scratcher.
That's all you need to know. It was a boxer's
A
fracture.
boxer's fracture.
Fracture. It sounds
There
like you're
you
saying scratcher.
go.
No, fracture. Boxer's fracture.
Stop eating your phone, your microphone, Kimber. Don't.
I'm not. It's laying on the couch. Boxer's fracture. Fracture.
Your microphone's laying on the couch. That's probably the problem then.
My phone is. Oh my god.
Oh
Who did
God.
you knock out, Kimber?
Huh?
Who did you knock out?
I'll never tell.
Are you a fighter?
Not any. I'm too damn old to fight now.
Okay.
She said not anymore.
Not
Used to be.
anymore. The
I can
older I get,
envision. I can envision that. I can envision Salty definitely being a fighter.
Nah, you got Salty lays back. I'm watching all the fools act a fool.
I meant when you were younger.
No, my sister. I'd stand there and watch and laugh. My sister would whip your ass just like my mama. I'm gonna stand there and assess the situation, and you're not gonna see me coming.
Yep. And I still can't get past the fact that Mom said that she was a wild one. I cannot put that.
Yeah,
That
I
don't
can
make no
see
sense.
it. She's like my sister,
Yeah.
man. My sister's still that way.
Thank you,
I
Brandy.
was still on wheels. I had a sister, and she
Yeah.
was. We were like night and day. Like the way that my mom used to tell people is she was Abercrombie and I was Bass Pro Shop.
Right.
I like
She was a little tiny, pritsy and just
like
girly
that.
girl, and then you had me, and you come at my sister, you had me to deal with.
Well, we're
That's
pretty
not,
much the same person, except I'm like our dad. I'm chill about most things, unless you come after the children. But my sister, not. It don't take much to get her going, but me, it takes a little more to make you worth my efforts.
my baby sister is insane. She will fight anybody. She would fight God. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah,
She's nuts. She is, but she always wins too. She is. She doesn't do it anymore, but she used to.
yeah.
Good Lord Almighty, she was crazy. If anybody even, she's like 6 years younger than me. If anybody even breathed sideways next to me, that's my brother. I'll kill you and rip your throat out. She's crazy. It's nuts. It was
I
nuts.
didn't get in no trouble. I didn't get in trouble at school. I didn't get in trouble at home. I knew I was too street smart, and I wasn't raised on the streets. I got away with a lot of things my parents didn't know I was doing, and I ain't gonna do shit to upset or disappoint my dad. No, I loved him too much, and I respected what he was teaching me too much. When I went out there and did wrong, and I knew better, that's on me. But I
Yeah.
was not. I wasn't a fighter like that. I was partying my ass off in the '80s, rock and roll, man, heavy metal concerts. I ain't got time for all that fighting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't do it unless I had to. It took a lot to get me to that point, unless you were messing with my family or something, that kind of stuff. But I was pretty laid back. I was a lover, not a fighter. But like I said, don't mess with my family or anybody I'm close to. Then the Sicilian side came out and it was on. Still like that, but I'm a lot more mellow than I used to be for sure. Hey, Clue, still in. Captain Jenks, what's happening, brother? Good to see you tonight. Let me see. Nightster, night. Yeah. Hi, how are you? Welcome, Nightster. I think Ray Baltic, welcome. Thank you, Miss Brandy. I appreciate that very much. Sharon Ostrander. I went to school with some Ostranders. So P Fox, welcome back. Good to see ya. So, ladies, what is loud and proud and wild and crazy going on tonight in the true crime community? Anything exciting and new?
Not really anything exciting and new. I got an email earlier to look
Mm-hmm.
into a couple of missing cases, so I was kind of looking into them and pulling together what I could find.
Gotcha.
But I hadn't really been on much today. I mean, I was up here with you guys earlier, and then I get in these rabbit holes on shorts, man. And I was like elbow deep in sharks.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like great whites, breachings, what they call it when they jump out of the water.
No. Yep.
And like whales slamming down on people's boats, and she ain't gonna catch me that far out. So no worries here. I'll watch it from YouTube.
Yeah,
and
we
a
don't
business
go.
way out there.
I don't blame you either. I don't blame you either.
Dago, go ahead, Kimber.
I saw that. I saw it somewhere earlier today. It was on a local Texas channel that they said that the hold on, let me get myself together here. They said that that it could take a month to 6 weeks to identify the body that they found in Corpus Christi. That the decomp was the decomp was very severe.
Oh, definitely.
So,
that's my wild child's baby sister. She's 43.
Oh, she's pretty.
She's 40. Pretty.
Yeah, she looks like my mama. That's what my mama looks like.
Got their curly hair. That's natural curly.
It is absolutely natural, and natural blonde too, 100%. That's the wild one. She don't look wild, but she's crazy. I'm telling you right now. Oh, yep, there she goes. She's going to bed. I'll give her about 10 minutes and she's out. Well, have a good night, Clue, when you do go out, and I hope your hand feels better. Yeah, I heard that last night, I think, and then I looked into it this morning, and I think it's gonna be a while too. But see, we were hearing, I can't remember where I was seeing that at, somebody was saying that it wasn't as bad as everybody was saying, so on and so forth. And I hate that. Until they tell us what it is, I just go with what I think it's going to be. And that's that based on my experience. So
that's what I was afraid of, is that it was going to take a while to get it.
Oh yeah, that's definitely
pretty.
I was hoping 48 to 72 hours, but it wasn't anything like I'd set my mind to, because, I don't want a big graphic on here, but those, y'all do the same thing we do. Y'all know what we're talking about. He's been gone for a few months, if it is him. And if it's not him, there's people that's been gone for longer than that. And that's just the ones we know about. That are missing, not like gone, but missing. So.
Very true. Very true. Senny K, what's going on? And Big Al, hello. Thank you, Miss Andy. Appreciate you very much.
Clue said you could give her a link.
Yes, Clue said you could have given me a link.
You said earlier that she wasn't going to be worth anything, and she was going to be falling asleep. So, whatever. There you go.
Hey, boy, that was me that mentioned the dog jumping off the bridge after the suspect. I haven't posted the video yet, but it is out there. It's on Twitter and stuff, but yes, that was the local police dog that took off after the guy who was trying to run from the police when he jumped out of the car. And when the guy jumped off the bridge, the dog just bailed off right after him. It was like 90 feet down to the water. And the dog just dove right in. Didn't even think twice about it.
Hold on a minute. I think I got it right here.
And he's doing well, by the way. They've been posting and keeping us updated on him, and he's doing really good.
All right, let's see here.
Yeah, this is the bridge over the Pensacola Bay.
People jumping off the right too?
Watch on the right-hand side.
The police dog just jumped off the bridge. Babe.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody go get that baby.
I'll be damned if that dog didn't jump.
I better more up close. I got the actual body cam of the handler behind the dog. I just haven't uploaded it yet.
people jumping off the right too? The dog!
He sure did. Good
I mean,
lord.
he just took right off. I mean, he just dove in. But
Wow.
yeah.
That's
How
that's
high
a
is
dead
that
Look.
bridge?
pretty
Uh,
high. That's pretty high.
That is Pensacola. That's one of the bridges going over Pensacola Bay over Scenic Highway. That area. They were in Pensacola and they did a retaliation. Apparently, there's a whole thing with this story. And it's unfolding here every day. But what happened was it was a retaliation apparently for something that happened, and so they drove into a neighborhood and they were in a stolen vehicle, and they got a tip that was happening. So they found the car on one of their cameras and they followed the car knowing it was headed toward that area. They took off toward that area and they pretty much tracked them and they got them and they chased them. And anyway, those dudes ended up firing they were all masked. All three had guns, big ones as well, about 40 rounds into the neighborhood, and they shot and heavily wounded a 70-year-old lady. And she's still fighting for her life right now. And so the cops chased them, and that's where they caught them. They did I got the video of this as well. They did 3 pit maneuvers on the white car, finally got it to stop, and they all 3 bailed out. 2 jumped off to the left, and that one took off to the right. He changed his mind. You can see him go over and it's like, oh hell no. Change his mind. He runs the other direction, jumps off. The dog's already after him at that point. When the dog sees him jump off, the dog just went right after him. The 2 that went off to the left, one was arrested. The one that went to the right, the dog went after, he got away. They were still hunting him. The 2 to the left, one got arrested and one missed the water and he didn't survive. So
That dog did not even think twice. He just went right
didn't
over the
even
wall.
no, he didn't even flinch. I wish I had let me hold on a minute, Dago. Let me jump down. I'll be right back. I'm gonna
Oh,
get you
you're
the body cam footage of the
okay.
dog doing it. I'll be right back.
Yes,
Because it
ma'am.
might, if I go to get it, it might throw me off. So let me see.
I hope
Yeah,
he's okay.
he was.
Yeah, yeah. Can you still hear me?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I hear you. Yeah, we hear you. Can you hear us? No. Can you hear me, Clue?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't gonna bother you if you were going to bed. I didn't know. So sorry.
It takes a minute.
Oh, okay.
It's
No
starting
problem.
to wear.
How
Starting
are
to
the
come
pup?
in, but
How are the puppies, Clay?
adorable. Oh,
She being a good mommy.
yeah, except for she keeps trying to like lay on them.
Tonight she
Oh,
just tired.
She's really tired. Like
I
she's
bet she
exhausted.
is.
It
That was a
is.
that was a lot for first litter.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Here you go. I'm gonna show you something real. It's 65 feet. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, no. That is a big. That's a long drop. Just saying.
That's a long way down.
Look at that. Nope.
That water be like concrete when you hit it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard. Yeah. No. Hell no.
Golly.
Up there on the and that poor little dog. No way. Nope. 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 That's a brave doggy.
He was like, I got a job to do.
Yeah.
And if you looked at that, he did not even hesitate. He just went right over the side, and that was the end of it.
Like,
Good
boy,
Lord.
my second home.
I mean,
100%.
he don't know how far down. You know what I mean? He don't.
Yeah, they don't know.
They ain't got a damn to give. They just
Yeah,
want
he's not like, oh, that's 65 feet.
Mhm.
I gotta stop.
I did get your email, both of them, Ann, and I got some from you, Green Eyed. I got Maya. Thank you. Oh well, wait a minute. What? Hold up. No way. Something ain't right.
That's not right.
No, somebody sent me an email. I'm gonna forward this to you, Clue. This is interesting. Hold on. Who sent
I'll
that?
be quiet for a second, Dago. I'm on the phone real quick. Hold on.
Oh, you're okay. Welcome back, Miss Salty.
There's something in your DM.
I like surprises.
It should show. It shows all of it. I think it shows the dog. The body came from the handler as well. But yeah, the dog was doing perfectly fine. He had a couple of little injuries, but nothing major. And they got him out, and he spent the night at the vet's. He went and got evaluated at one, then went to another and spent the night. There's a big dog training facility here for these canines. So
I
they have
just
a big facility they can go to. So they took good care of him.
Yeah, I just pulled it up and showed the close up of the bridge, but it's 65 feet straight down. So that's a good drop. That's a good drop.
Yes. Right over the
All right. Here we go, folks. Let's check it out.
Her life right now. She was shot during a drive-by shooting on Eris Boulevard last night. Escambia County Sheriff Chip Simmons is calling it a retaliation shooting in response to another drive-by attack which left a 21-year-old man dead last week. Now, more than 24 officers were involved in tracking down the shooters yesterday. The chase ended at the Highway 90 bridge at Scenic Highway.
3 suspects jumped from that bridge. One suspect, 22-year-old Trevion Moten, died in that fall. A second suspect was injured and arrested. A third still missing. Jared Willits has the story.
This is the dramatic ending to a high-speed pursuit which ended at the Highway 90 bridge. Sheriff's deputies using a series of pit maneuvers to stop the people they say were in a stolen car and had fired shots about 6:30 Monday night. Minutes earlier, that shooting was captured on camera. You can see the shooter sticking his arm out of the back rear window of the vehicle.
We know we had 40 rounds that were fired.
The suspects sped off. Hot on their trail, Escambia County deputies, Pensacola police, and troopers from the Highway Patrol.
We are chasing killers at this point, and we are not going to stop. It's the first effort at a pit. He survives that one, crosses over. I think he's injured one of his tires at that point. Our deputies do not give up. We try to stop him again. Again, our deputies know that there are 3 would-be killers in this car.
Once their car was disabled, the 3 masked suspects jumped out of the car. 2 jumped over the left side of the bridge. 1 was injured. The second died from the 30-foot fall. A third ran to the other side of the bridge, jumping into the water. He is still missing. Sheriff body cam shows the swamp-like conditions as they look for the suspect. Deputy K-9 Streeter followed that third suspect into the water. He was injured, but is expected to be okay.
He's a bit of a hero because he did what all the men and women at the sheriff's office do. They don't stop until they catch the bad guy.
Inside the crashed car on the bridge, deputies found 2 handguns and an assault rifle.
So, put 2 and 2 together. We had 223 rounds, handgun rounds fired at the drive-by shooting that happens minutes before this. So we certainly think that we can connect these weapons to that drive-by shooting.
Back on Eris Boulevard, evidence markers littered the scene, where the 70-year-old woman was shot and seriously injured. Investigators are now looking at the shooting as a retaliatory attack.
I understand it was the one that happened last week. I haven't talked to the city police, but they had one drive-by, as I understand it. And then this was allegedly, this was a retaliation for that homicide that they had last week.
Jared Willits, WEAR News.
See, our city police department here is very small, and I don't even think of them half the time, because we deal with the Escambia County Sheriff's Department, because the counties are huge in Florida.
Right.
The city parts aren't. So I guess there was a shooting down there in the city. But this sheriff here is way different than the old sheriff was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about time. That's all I can say. About time. But yeah, that's the story.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Streeter deserves a big old steak dinner.
Oh, he's getting his, and he was put on desk duty to the end of the week. They said at least.
Right.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is that woman had nothing. They got nothing to do with any of that.
That's the thing. We're sick of it because I mean, for the longest time, it was every day, all day. It was every time you turned around. It's like it wasn't that way before. You know, it wasn't always like that. What the hell's happening here? And what are we doing to stop it? And it seemed like nothing was being done. Now it feels like there is, finally. Vote out the old and bring in the new. But yeah, this sheriff's way better, so we're doing good now. But I don't live over there because of that reason right there. Sorry, you gonna shoot 40 shots up into a neighborhood, then get involved in a high-speed chase. If I'm coming down the road with my baby's in the car, man, you better hope I'm injured. I'd be mad. What's Nancy gonna talk about? Or was that on the thing I was showing?
You are muted, sir.
I'm like, what's he doing?
You guys are supposed to read my lips. Come on now. Anyway. No, I said tomorrow. I'm sorry. Tomorrow is the hearing in Idaho for Kohberger again.
Yes, it is.
It's a sense or not a. Damn it. A
scheduling.
I said sentencing. I started to say sentencing. Scheduling.
Dago, watch your words.
Way too far behind for that. But anyway, so in this episode is something to do with Kohberger, so I figured we could check this out tonight, see what it's about before we have the hearing tomorrow, which of course I will be showing that as well. But I'm curious to see what Miss Nancy's saying about Mr. Brian and what it's all about.
She ain't about to quote Bloom, is she?
I hope not. God, I hope not.
Okay, here we go.
We'll see.
Grain of salt.
Yep. Keep your fingers crossed. Oh, well, I guess we need volume, don't we? There we go.
Bone-chilling Brian Kohberger details emerge. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime.
Can you guys hear it?
Yes.
Bone-chilling Brian Kohberger details emerge. Good Lord, I'm scared.
You know where they emerged from, don't you?
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, Aces, thank you. I will.
Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
Bombshell, a new tell-all book, reveals a bone-chilling theory on Idaho murder suspect Brian Kohberger. Author Howard Bloom joins Crime Stories for an exclusive interview.
Howard Bloom is joining us right now from Manhattan, along with an all-star panel to dissect what we know and what we are learning from Howard Bloom. You know, I have poured over every document, every search warrant, every return, every witness statement that I could get my mitts on. I have flown to Idaho, to Moscow, Idaho, in the midst of winter and trudged through the snow to look at the scene as best as I could, to drive the route. I believe, oh yeah, good time.
Stop it right there, Dago. Damn it. And she didn't just drive there and plop through the snow. She sat her damn desk down there. And this is the one thing I don't like about her. I've been watching this lady for years and years and years and years. There's so much about her that does not bother me. But this one was an all new, to me, was a whole new level I had never seen before. And I think that helped propel, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is a little crazy.
Well, the whole case got crazy, not just her.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it was she. So it's like they all, everybody was doing it. It's just crazy to me how that happened. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's definitely unneeded. I'll say that much.
yeah, it was a little unnecessary. I wouldn't have froze for it. Shit.
No, it ain't worth that. Not at all. But hey, I don't know.
Then got in an SUV at night in the pitch dark. At the time, I believe Brian Kohberger left that crime scene and started his circuitous route, although an hour's drive to his apartment at nearby Washington State University in Pullman, which should have been about an 8-minute drive. And somewhere along the way, he turns his cell phone back on. That said, after all that, I still learned so much from reading Howard Bloom's book. The name, When the Night Comes Falling, a Requiem for the Idaho Student Murders.
Now, I have a question. How can somebody write a book about something that hasn't even been to trial yet?
It hasn't, a story that hasn't been finished, and a story that we don't know the facts of.
Right.
So how could he? So.
So whatever
I've
said,
heard a lot.
listen,
I've already heard a lot of what's been coming out of the book. It's there. I can't help it. I get it sent to me sometimes. It always shows up.
I
There's
haven't gotten
one
any of it.
particular person. Oh, really? There's one particular person I will watch because I know they're going to present whatever he puts out there. So
Mhm.
I've seen a little bit of what's new right now. I can't discount all of it. But a lot of it I can. A lot of it, it's like, how does you know? Because we don't know.
Right. Exactly.
So, and even all those damn leaked text messages between him for Stephen Bratt,
Right.
Bloom got them all from her, and she's admitted it. It is what it is. But I don't know.
And
He doesn't know any. It's not. I don't know.
Yeah, I knew about that a year. I think we knew about that. I talked about it more than a year ago before it even was dropped like that. So that's why I don't think I'm going to make a request. I'll just say it this way. Not that everybody's going to follow it, but please, if you can, don't take all this to heart, guys, that you're going to, whatever you hear, or if you read this book, you can't, guys. We don't know until we go to trial the real facts of this. So I think this is a fiction book. Okay, so take it for what it is. It's a fiction book.
He's taken it from sources, like he spoke to this person and that person, and he has spoke to people that allegedly knew Kohberger's dad and had conversations with him about what he thought and things like that.
Right.
So that's what all of it's based on, every bit of it.
The book should be called Hearsay. Truly, this should be the name of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing facts. There's no receipts to back up any of it, because we don't know the damn story. So with that said, just remember, it's nothing facts. Yeah.
Wow. Even the title made me stop. And in the midst of everything we all do in regular life, working, your children, your cat, your dog, your mom, I managed to finish this book in one day. I practically could not put it down. I had it in 2 forms. I printed out what I had and had it on my iPad so I could look at it no matter where I was. Howard Bloom, it's amazing. You had me sitting in the Costco parking lot in the heat, reading your book, trying to get to the next chapter before I came back home. It's amazing.
I appreciate that. That's very kind. You sit in a room as an author, and you wonder if anyone will read what you write, and then to hear someone talk about it so graciously, I'm very flattered. So thank you.
Well, I've never been accused of being kind before, so I will take that with a box of salt. I want to get right to it. There's so much in your book. I had to take copious notes. So I'll just start at the beginning. It was an amazing intro, and I was struck by the fact that you start your book from Kohberger's father's point of view. And what I learned about his father really touched my heart. How he never got to go to college, and he was so proud of Brian Kohberger and was already referring to him as Dr. Kohberger amongst his coworkers. And it reminded me so much, Howard, of my father, how He didn't get, we're first generation college. And when I got through law school, in his mind, it was the most amazing thing ever. So proud, right? Now, here's my question with that lead up. Almost at the beginning, his father and his family, Kohberger's family, suspected him of being the killer. And I found that just, I was dumbstruck. Because, you know, when I read about a crime, I don't immediately think, oh, my son did that. In fact, I've never thought that. Tell me your thinking and why you say that.
Michael Kohberger makes this trip out to see his son to make the ride back with him. You know, this is a 28-year-old man, and his father is worried about him. He's making this trip. It's fatiguing, it's expensive, but he's worried about his son. He's sitting next to him in this car, shoulder to shoulder. He knows the police are looking for a white Hyundai. And one of the first things he realizes when he meets his son is that his son's mood is volatile. That's his first sign that Brian is in a state. He goes out to meet his son in Washington State, and he doesn't know which Brian he's going to encounter. But that's his first sign, and he begins to see, as the moods change and become deeper and more acerbic, he begins to wonder, oh my gosh. He begins to think the unthinkable. He begins to consider that his son could, in fact, be a murderer. And all this is building in his mind. He's afraid to go there, as any father would. But he's getting these clues as if he were following footsteps in the snow, and the footsteps are becoming bloodier and bloodier. And he now realizes, could this really be true? And then all of a sudden they're driving along in Indiana, and they see police sirens in the back, and the car has to pull over. And he begins to feel, what is going to happen next?
Wow. Guys, with me, Howard Bloom, who has literally written the book. The name of the book, When the Night Comes Falling, a Requiem for the Idaho Student Murders. And I have learned so much, more than we, the public, have learned, more than my sources have told me, by exhaustive research by Howard Bloom. You're looking right at him. Howard, you stated that, these aren't your words, that you discovered this from what Kohberger's father stated to other people. What did he state about immediately suspecting his son was the killer?
He went out to Idaho, Washington State at the beginning with suspicions. You have to remember that Michael, this is not his first trip out there. He even took his son out on the first trip in August.
Now I have to wonder. If this was. I shouldn't say it like this because it's probably not the right way to say it, but I'm going to put it this way. I got to guarantee you that the prosecution is supporting this 1,001%. That's all I'm going to say. You take that and figure out what I mean by it, folks. You'll get it. Because if you look at this already, what I'm hearing, that's a push against the defense, folks. I mean, if it's written like this, the whole thing, this is more propaganda se that shouldn't have been able to be released yet.
In the first parts of this book, there were before the book came out, like for months and months now, we've been getting parts of it released for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, he was going through the very early investigation, showing all the problems. And it was a very pro-defense type thing.
Right.
Now it's shifting and becoming this. So it is what it is.
Right.
I don't base my decision on this dude.
No.
On this other guy's.
No, but there will
sources.
be. You know what I'm saying, though.
I know there will be. There's people who have been heavily influenced by YouTube.
Yep.
As well. So, I mean, I take all of it like that, but it's a shame. But it's not fact. I mean, you can't state any of it as facts. So
exactly,
it becomes when people just trying to decide if they can actually trust what they're hearing or not, or if there's any takeaways that they can, all that becomes like yucky because they're doing this and that. I hold everybody accountable. So
yeah,
this guy's no different.
I can agree. Moving on.
son was just registering for school. He had real concerns about his son.
Joining me, an all-star panel in addition to this incredible author, Howard Bloom. Howard, I noticed that one of the points of contention was about the route. And when I was driving that route from the King Road murder scene back to his apartment in Pullman, I was wondering why he did that, why he drove an hour in the middle of the night. And I'm sure you know there's no street lights. It's pitch black. I nearly ran off the road a couple of times when a semi would come by. But he basically did the same thing with his dad. The dad flies out, does a quick turnaround. He's exhausted. He gets in the launcher with his son. And the son refuses to go the direct and much shorter route. Do you think that had anything to do with Kohberger believing he was being followed or monitored?
I think Kohberger, being a criminology student, was trying to take precautions. At this point, I don't think he had any belief or any knowledge that he was being followed. However, he was trying to be circumspect. He was trying to be one step smarter than the authorities.
Again, in addition to Howard Bloom, now preeminent author, an all-star panel. And I want to go out to Chris McDonough joining us, the director of the Cold Case Foundation, former homicide detective, host of The Interview Room on YouTube, who, like me, like Howard, has seen the evidence, has walked the scene, very familiar with the area. Chris McDonough, you've had a lot of homicide cases, and very often family members know their son is a killer, but they will never admit it. And I'm thinking about Kohberger's dad, who knew
Thank you,
he had
Sharon.
suspicions at the beginning his son was a quadruple killer.
Yeah, and Nancy, I think what happens is, right, that parental, tendency kicks in relationship to they want to believe it, but they don't necessarily want to believe it, and so it's kind of a tug and pull from a parental position. However, in this particular case, it's obvious Dad had his radar was way up. And had taken that trip to go out and pick up his son. So that in of itself.
Think about it, Chris. And let me throw this to Dr. Angela Arnold, renowned psychiatrist, joining us, AngelaArnoldMD.com. Have you ever seen parents that tiptoe around their child, that they're just waiting for an explosion? And when I was reading the first chapter in Howard's book, When the Night Comes Falling, you could feel the tension of the father in the car with Kohberger on this long drive, just waiting for an explosion. But we got to keep in mind, the dad, Michael Kohberger, had spent his whole life trying to prop up, support, help Brian Kohberger. So he knew it was like walking through a minefield. Anything could make him explode. And when Kohberger insisted on this circuitous route, which took hours and hours longer than a direct route, he went, okay, fine, you're the boss. Those are the words the father used to Kohberger.
Well, sure, because Nancy, the last thing he was going to do was confront this guy, because I have to wonder if the father knew all of this, was the father a little bit terrified of what could set Brian off? And possibly was the father's life in danger at this point, because apparently Brian was agitated at this time? I wonder if the circuitous route had anything to do with some sort of OCD kind of disorder that this guy has.
Howard Bloom, you also described Brian Kohberger, his heroin habit, how he got into heroin. And when he managed to kick heroin after his father turned him in for stealing the sister's phone, and he had to go into some sort of a rehab, a treatment to get his life straight, he kicked heroin and decided his body was a temple. And that is when he became a vegetarian. And I had wondered where that started, because now he's demanding certain types of meals behind bars, and he's getting them. And I remember an anecdote where the family couldn't cook with certain pots and pans because they had once cooked meat. I'm working up to it. You revealed that Kohberger had 2 types of plastic surgery after he loses 100 pounds. What were they?
Well, Brian Kohberger is intent, and this is the admirable part of him. He's trying to reinvent himself. He comes out of this depressing hardscrabble existence, a family with 2 bankruptcies. He's going to a hardscrabble high school. His father is a janitor at the high school. He's sort of embarrassed by that. He becomes a heroin addict, and yet, to his credit, he works himself out of this. He then he's trying to approach girls at high school. They're ignoring him. He loses the weight, and he still has this sort of flesh that's going over his midsection. And it's just not the sort of guy he wants to be. He wants to be a player. He wants to be one of the cool guys. And he thinks, so he has this surgery, these 2 surgeries are covered by insurance, and he reinvents himself. He's in good shape, as you can see in the photographs. He works out, he does martial arts, and he still tries to become the man he wants to be. And yet at the end,
Plastic
all his-
surgery.
Yes.
The plastic surgeries.
He has these 2 plastic surgeries to get.
He had skin removal surgery because he lost a massive amount of weight. That's all it was. So, okay.
Yeah, I mean it's classified as a plastic surgery, but that's basically what it was.
Right. His
From
stomach.
after the I wondered if he I don't guess he ever had like gastric bypass. He just lost all the weight.
Right.
And then he had
to
all the excess skin.
Yep.
And so to get rid of that, he had to have surgeries to help correct it.
Absolutely. And that is very true, P-Fox. Everybody needs to keep that in mind, that one of the major sources that are from the writings in this book was Brett Norton. So
Well,
understand that.
in the earlier parts of the book, when he talks about Steve, he talks about information that he got from those text messages. All of that book is not based on those texts. That was based on his conversations about Steve. Now, the early parts of his book about the investigation and all the stuff that you guys think were wrong with it, he's right about. So then once the conversation parts were released with Steve or about Steve, and you read what he was writing about Steve, then all those texts came out, right? And I saw all of them. There's a ton of them.
I have them too.
Yeah, they were all leaked out. Anyway, so he has all kinds of sources of information, but that don't mean they're right or wrong.
Absolutely.
Some of them I already know are right. Some I know are wrong, and I'm just going to say that.
Right. Agreed. Absolutely. All right. Here we go.
Over his midsection, so there's not this sort of envelope, like the lid on an envelope.
Howard, you're so polite. Okay. You outline it in your book. He had 2 surgeries, one of them being an abdominoplasty, and the other, you know what? They're long. Let me rephrase, Liz. You described 2 plastic surgeries that Brian Kohberger has. Both of them, I believe, were related to removing flaps of skin left over from the 100+ pound weight loss, a flap of skin and tissue that went down over his private parts and his lower stomach. He wanted to get rid of that. And when he did get rid of that through plastic surgery, he had a serious buff body, is the way I take it from your book. Is that what happened?
That's exactly what happened. He had this vision that he would become a new Brian Kohberger. And the tragedy is he almost succeeded. He gets out to Washington State, a new man, and he's trying to live a new life. And yet he's pulled back into what he always is, to his essence, I believe.
Brian Kohberger allegedly enters the home and walks past the first rooms he sees coming into the Moscow, Idaho house and goes straight up a narrow staircase and turns directly into the room of his target, Madison Mogen. Author Howard Bloom says investigators believe Maddie Mogen is the target, and her best friend Kaylee Gonzalez is killed because she's in the room with Mogen.
Did Brian Kohberger's parents suspect their son? An explosive new book suggests family knew more than they ever let on about their troubled son. Author Howard Bloom tells us more.
Guys, joining me is the author, Howard Bloom, author of When the Night Comes Falling, A Requiem for the Idaho Student Murders. Howard Bloom has gone where many have not, tediously investigating everything about this case, and the book is full of revelations. We were just describing how Kohberger's own family thought at the get-go, before he was ever named a suspect or even a POI, person of interest, that he committed the quadruple murders. And in this vein, can you imagine Kohberger's father, so proud of his son getting his PhD, flies out to Washington to drive Kohberger back home to the Poconos area for Thanksgiving. And he's sitting there for all these hours in this white Elantra, which of course he knows has been named in the case, and looking over at his son, who is acting more and more volatile. But I want to move on to the next point. Listen,
In a shocking revelation, author Howard Bloom claims Brian Kohberger is not a random spree killer. He had one target in mind the night he allegedly killed 4 college students in their home off campus in Moscow, Idaho. Bloom says investigators believe in a non-targeted attack, the killer would have stopped at the first door inside the house. It would have been instinctive to go into the first rooms after gaining entry, but that isn't what happened. Investigators point to the 2 surviving roommates, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk, as proof Kohberger is after a specific target.
You know, you really back your theory up with a lot of facts, and the way they're laid out, it makes perfect sense. But all along, it has been believed, it has been accepted that Kelly Gonsalves was the target, the original target, and the others were just collateral damage.
By you,
said
maybe, Nancy.
why?
Well, at this point, Kaylee is not even really living in the house. She's living.
What's that?
I said by you, maybe, Nancy. Talking about
Yeah.
Kaylee.
Yeah,
Kaylee.
that's bull. That is not. That's her opinion. As is
Well-
most of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that was most people's a theory, I guess, or opinion early on, just based on things that were said very early. But if you look at the evidence,
I took Maddie as being the target for a long time in the beginning. I remember that.
yeah, you did. We did. You did. I know you did.
Right.
We've talked about it so many times because regardless of who came in that back door,
Mm-hmm.
one thing he just said is right. Because if it is like a random thing, they
Yeah.
would have went for whoever was seen first, right? Or
Exactly.
could have been
Yes.
got to first. And
Yes.
so that's what made it a targeted attack.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So and then the
I don't.
fallout happened. You know.
I honestly, Firefly, I don't know. I don't think he's innocent or guilty at this point. Not yet, at least. And I'm not going to be able to make. I've realized at this point that I'm not going to be able to make a call on that until we get to the trial and I see it for myself. That's the only way I can ever give an answer to that question and be honest about it. Truly, I've been sitting 50-50 from almost the very beginning. Excuse me. And I've leaned more in different directions throughout everything we've seen, but I'm still right down the middle for this moment. And I'm not going to change that from this point on until we get to trial now. So
Being up north with her family. She's going to graduate at the end of the term in December. And Brian really wouldn't have come in contact with her necessarily. But he did go to the Mad Greek restaurant in downtown Moscow. It's sort of vegan food, which he liked, which he would adhere to strictly. And Maddie was a waitress there. And my belief is that they encountered one another in the restaurant. Were any words said? Did they have a conversation? I don't think that was necessary. You know, both the prosecution and the defense have said for the record that there was no interaction between Brian Kohberger and any of the victims. But Brian was a man whose life was sort of determined by obsessions, such as being addicted to heroin, such as losing 100 pounds, such as deciding to become the best student after being a mediocre student. And I think once he saw Maddie, for whatever reasons, I mean, she's an attractive blonde woman, charming, vivacious, ebullient, he becomes interested in her. And I think his fixation, he would see the parties, he would be in, I believe, on the periphery of events as parties were hosted at this house on King Road, a party house. And he would look at that and he felt it was in some ways a constant rebuke to the life that he was leading and the life he wanted to live. He could never be a part of that. And he decided in his rage and his mania, I believe, to do something about it. Haley is collateral damage. The 2 other victims are collateral damage too.
Near the beginning of your book, you talk about Brian Kohberger delving into, quote, the criminal mind, and will be a, quote, scientist exploring why criminals do what they do. It's been kicked around that his motive, not that the state needs to prove a motive, they don't, but juries like to hear it. So practically speaking, you better hand one over on a silver platter on top of the Christmas tree. You can't have him full of rage and methodically trying to carry out the perfect murder and get away with it very calmly and methodically. So, which one is it? What about it, Bloom?
He was filled with mania, which is not the same thing as rage. And you're trying to understand, make a rational explanation for completely irrational acts. What Brian Kohberger tried to do that night is to commit, I believe, the perfect crime. I believe he wanted to get Maddie, he wanted to kill her, and then once he gets into the house, once he finds another girl there, all his plans fall apart. That's why he leaves the knife sheath behind. He did think things out. As the police well know, there wasn't any blood, a trail of blood left by the perpetrator in the house. All they had was the touch DNA on the knife sheath. There was no trail of blood going up the hill or where a car was parked. To this day, they have not found the murder weapon. To this day, they have not found any clothes covered with blood from that house, and the house was filled with blood. We've all seen the pictures of the rivulets of blood leaking out from the foundation of the house. So he did have some planning. He knew enough, he thought, to turn off his phone from 2:47 to 4:48, to those 2 hours when the murders were taking place. And
Hey, Howard Bloom. You're the fire hydrant. You're giving me the information faster than I can take it in. I can't drink from a fire hydrant. You've got to give it to me teaspoon by teaspoon. And I'm telling you, this book, amazing. But Brian C. Stewart joining me, high-profile lawyer joining us, who practices in this jurisdiction as well as in Utah. Brian, I hear what Howard is saying. I hear what Joe Scott Morgan is saying. And I've got to agree. I empathize. I get both the theories. The reality is the state never has to prove a motive, but jurors want to hear a motive. So do you believe that when this case goes to trial, which it is, despite the defense dragging their feet and dragging the judge along with them, he's going along with it, do you believe the state has to pick a theory as to motive? Because these two are not consistent. Or are they? Rage versus method.
Well, motive can be an important part of the circumstantial evidence that leads a jury to understand why a perpetrator commits a crime. But as you said, it's not necessary to prove that they committed the crime. Here, where Brian Kohberger seems like somebody who's studying criminal justice and perhaps sees himself as the smartest person in the room or a narcissist, his motivation may be to commit the perfect crime. And he would know that choosing someone in another city who he doesn't have a relationship with would create a lot of distance between him and the potential victim. That's the first thing that police look for, is relationships in a murder. And he might have chosen Maddie as someone who's young and blonde and beautiful and might get him a lot of notoriety as he evades justice. And so if that's his motivation, that could certainly be the reason why he chose somebody and doesn't have necessarily rage for Maddie, but has rage for the system, or mania, as Harold says, to beat the system.
Joining us, Howard Bloom, who has meticulously investigated so many facts of the case that we didn't know about, including Kohberger's past, how he lost 100 pounds and had 2 different plastic surgeries to remove a flap of skin from his stomach that went down over his genitals. He didn't want that look. He lost 100 pounds on his own, had 2 plastic surgeries to reinvent himself as a modern-day Adonis. But according to his friends, what I'm reading in When the Night Comes Falling, his friends didn't like how that transformation changed his personality. He became a know-it-all, very aggressive, and that was borne out at Washington State University. He treated his friends in high school that way after he got his new look. He became, in his mind, the it guy, but somehow he couldn't pull it off. What, if anything, did that have to do with the murders of 4 beautiful University of Idaho students? Okay, to this whole panel, including Howard Bloom joining us, I got to have more than what Joe Scott Morgan is telling me, that the attack on Kelly was much more savage than the attack on Maddie Mogen. Why? All 4 of them were brutally stabbed dead. I need to know who is my target. And in this book, Bloom describes a blood trail. He also describes the blood literally leaking down the outside of the house, which I observed when I went to Idaho. But that's it. Let's talk about the blood evidence, Howard Bloom. What about the blood evidence convinces you as to who the real target was?
Well, one point that you just made about the wounds on Kaylee being so severe. Kaylee fought back. She was originally in the bed with Maddie. She gets up from the bed. The room is very narrow. She tries to get towards the wall, but she's trapped by Kohberger, and she's fighting back. And she is not dying easily. It's a very violent death. And he's enraged that he even has to, I believe, that he had to encounter her. He did not expect her. And to then find this woman fighting back like a tiger is putting him in his mania, is exacerbating the situation. He thought he would go in there and kill Maddie, her presence rebuked him. I think that's what was going on that night in that house.
Nancy?
I'm trying to take it in. Yeah, jump in.
So there's a couple of things, from my thought process in this. One is, that evening, Kohberger, I don't think he's manic depressive or in a manic state in any way, shape, or form. My personal opinion. I think he's very organized. He selected his target set on purpose. And the reason I feel that way, there's a couple things. One is both Madison and Kaylee, they're attached at the hip. And that evening, when Kohberger pulls up, if he's our guy, he's got to see her car. He's got to know, based on the surveillance that he's been doing, that she potentially could be there as well. And so we have to now ask ourselves.
Whoa. I disagree. I disagree because I don't know that Kohberger knew about her new car, a Range Rover. Okay. That was new. And it's a used vehicle.
Good for you on that one, Nancy. I'm impressed with that. Huh. Just saying.
At this point, Kaylee is not really living in the house. She's living in Coeur d'Alene. She just comes in for that weekend, and he didn't know that. He didn't expect it. And when he's circling the house, I believe he's not really doing that night 3 times. He comes and goes. I believe he's not doing surveillance. I believe he's trying to find the will inside himself to turn off the motor, to stop the car, to climb down the hill and commit this crime. Each time he circles the house, it's not to see what's going on. He doesn't even really notice the cars, but it's really an internal battle he's fighting. If he had seen the cars, if he'd even seen the DoorDash delivery, there was a DoorDash delivery at 4 a.m. He might have reconsidered it. He was locked in.
Hold on, everybody. Hold on. Howard Bloom, you were taking our program down a pig path. Now, I guess you joining us from Manhattan, that you have never been down a pig path. But what a pig path is certainly not a direct line or goes in any organized manner. It just goes all over the place. But you know what, Howard Bloom? That's the way an investigation is. When I would sit around a table talking with investigators and witnesses, other DAs, one topic leads to another topic, And it's hard to marshal your evidence, which you did a great job in your book doing. But guys, he brought up another thing. Bloom brought up that Kohberger circles the house 3 times. And yes, I'm going to get to that store clerk who, in my mind, helped crack this case, who you say wants to remain anonymous, and I don't blame her. Long story short, how did you confirm, Howard Bloom, that a white Elantra or car similar to a white Elantra circled the King Road address 3 times leading up to the quadruple murder? How did you confirm that?
Well, part of it is in court documents and the public affidavits, but I also spoke with the gas station attendant who gave the surveillance video to the police too. So a lot of that is public record. What is not public record, clearly, is what was in the driver's mind at that time as he was circling. Something you have to remember, in all the surveillance videos, there's not one photograph of the license plate of the car. There's not one photograph of the driver. You can't see who it is holding the steering wheel. The FBI has tried everything to try to pull a picture from inside the car of who was driving that night, and they couldn't. So, but Kohberger, I believe, was the man in that Hyundai Elantra, and he was trying to find the will to cross over into the man who was thinking about this horrific crime to becoming the sort of man who could commit it. And it was a difficult, difficult journey he was taking internally that night.
Families of the slain Idaho 4 victims await justice as a judge sets a date for trial.
Yeah, and that judge, many argue, is kowtowing to the defense. When are these families going to get justice? That's a whole other can of worms. With me, Howard Bloom, the author of an incredible new book, When the Night Comes Falling, a Requiem for the Idaho Student Murders. Okay, all hands on deck to analyze what Howard Bloom was telling us. Now, Howard Bloom, you crossed over into the gas station video, which is later when I believe Kohberger's leaving the scene. I'm going to go back to you stating in your book that you believe Kohberger, a white Elantra, circles the crime scene 3 times that we know of before the murders occur. Now, not the gas station video, You are telling me that's caught on video. Is it, as you described, at the end, near the end of chapter 20, a guy who owns a rental complex, I think 3 apartments, a rental complex nearby, and he's got a camera on top of the rental complex looking down. Did his video catch the Elantra circling 3 times before the murders?
Yes, and in this video too, they still can't make out a license plate. They still can't make out in the darkness the driver, but they are able to make out the car. When the FBI in Quantico was trying to figure out from these videos what kind of car it is, they tried 3 different times until they finally come up with a Hyundai Elantra from 2011 to 2015. At first, they thought it was just 2011 to 2013. And that's one of the reasons why Brian Kohberger takes so long to find him, because the authorities in Washington State were really looking for the wrong car.
Hey, just got Morgan, and everybody jump in. I'm going to circle back to you, Brian Stewart, about mens rea, about intent. Is it even needed? Do we need explicit intent, or is it implicit by the number of the killings that we have murder ones? Of course we do. But I want to talk to you about the legal theory. Before that, just got Morgan, you hear Howard Bloom describing 3 times he circled that we know of. And it's caught, I believe, on the top of that rental facility. There's a camera up on the roof. And I looked everywhere when I was out there, Joe Scott Morgan. I went very slowly, and it was slippery and icy. And I fell more than once. I looked all the way up and down the street for surveillance videos. It's very narrow. I've told you this story. I could stand on one side of the street, look into the kitchen window across the street, and tell you what kind of liquid soap they had sitting on their sink at the kitchen window. It's that close. I did not see the overhead surveillance camera on that rental. It's on the roof. It's incredible. Now, he was talking about the FBI tried everything to enhance the tag and the driver. How? What do they do to enhance?
They're watching this thing through various programs that they have, Nancy, in order to try to tighten down the image, because I'm sure that it's very granulated, particularly given the nighttime status of this, where you're not going to be able to pick up, without some kind of light enhancement, like an infrared or something like this, that'll be able to give you finer detail. So it's going to be greatly compromised. And look, you have to think about the house itself. This house is kind of shaded in darkness from the rear. You're not going to see a lot there. There's not a lot. It's not like being in a huge city where you've got street lights that are all over the place that'll be illuminating this environment. So it's going to be a tough ask if you're thinking about attempting to get an image that's capturable, so that they can do what they need to do in order to identify this individual.
Okay, Joe Scott, just please stop. You know what?
Yep.
I can see a tiny little crater on the moon, but I can't get the tag number or the visage of Kohberger's face. Why?
Because these houses don't have the Hubble telescope on them. These
Nobody likes a smart aleck or a know-it-all, Joe Scott.
Well,
You're right.
The cameras that you're talking about, they're not the highest of quality. I mean, look how many are turned out every single day. They're in shops all over the place. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a great quality.
Did Brian Kohberger's parents suspect their son? An explosive new book suggests family knew more than they ever let on about their troubled son. Author Howard Blum tells us more.
His book is so chock full of evidence and facts supporting what many of us have been thinking and pondering, and so much more. When the Night Comes Falling by Howard Bloom. Howard, we were just talking to Joe Scott Morgan about why the FBI could not enhance that video better than it did. I get it, but I heard you saying something in the background. What was that?
Well, not only couldn't they enhance the video, the FBI has this program that they developed really for anti-terrorism activities. And they tried 3 different times to analyze the car, and they got 3 different years. Originally, they had the car was not a Hyundai Elantra. They did a Nissan Sentra. And then finally, there was a 2011, and then it's 2013. And then they finally, at the end, said 2011 to 2015. I can assure you, the FBI's fumblings will come up in court. I'm sure the defense will raise this and try to impugn the identification of the car.
Okay, wait a minute. The FBI fumbling? I don't see them fumbling here. What do you mean by that?
Well, fumbling in the sense that their technology was just not up to snuff, and they gave declarations. The first original Be on the Lookout notice was not for a 2015 Hyundai Elantra. It was for a 2011 Hyundai Elantra.
Okay, hold on, Howard Bloom. You mentioned a detail And I'm not sure if you thought I was just going to ignore it or didn't catch it, but you said the FBI was trying to enhance. They tried it 3 times, I believe you said. But are you referring to the type of video surveillance that was ultimately introduced in the Kyle Rittenhouse case, where we had satellite surveillance from nearly 9,000 feet in the air to figure out what really happened? And there was video. Did the FBI go to the extent of grabbing sat video?
This was much more rudimentary. What they had was a surveillance photograph, and they tried to enhance it. These were grainy photographs, and they thought they'd run them through this machine, this process, this computer program that was developed at vast expense by the Department of Defense and Homeland Security originally for terrorism activities, and they thought they could get the identity of the car. And then they passed it out in the original Be on the Lookout that the Moscow police sent nationwide for a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. That was a mistake. That wasn't the year of the car they ultimately decided was Kohberger's.
Guys, we are speaking to an all-star panel, including author Howard Bloom, who has just finished his book, When the Night Comes Falling, A Requiem for the Idaho Student Murders. To my panel, I want to thank you for kindly agreeing to join us again tomorrow night, because we've barely scratched the surface of the evidence, how it was accumulated, and what does it mean with Howard Bloom. For instance, have we found a receipt for the outfit Brian Kohberger purchased and wore during the murders? There's so much more. Please join us tomorrow night with the same all-star panel, including Howard Bloom, as we, like the investigators, comb through the Kohberger evidence. But now we stop and we remember an American hero. American hero, Reserve Corporal Joseph Johnson, Nyssa, Oregon Police Department. Corporal Johnson shot and killed in the line of duty. He is survived by a grieving wife and 2 beautiful children. American hero, Corporal Joseph Johnson. Thank you to our guests for being with us tonight and illuminating the mysterious facts surrounding a quadruple murder of 4 beautiful students. Thank you for joining us, and to our MSM family as we search for the truth that will hopefully result in a true verdict. Nancy Grace signing off. I'll see you tomorrow night, 6 and 9 o'clock sharp Eastern. And until then, good night, friend. Guys, thank you for watching Crime Online with Nancy Grace here on YouTube. To get the very latest, subscribe to Crime Online here.
Well, I don't know. I didn't take much from that, to be honest with you guys. Not much at all. Excuse me. I think it again is based on fictional experiences and conversations that were had, that and hearsay, a lot of hearsay. So that's just my opinion. Nobody has to agree. That's just my take on it.
So
And
when
Facebook groups.
yeah,
Say again.
She said Facebook groups. Is that what you said, Mom?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot, and then Facebook groups. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Yep.
But
yep.
you know, there's a lot of information out there about both sides, about him, the victims, and all the things. You know, I've always based how I felt on what the evidence presented as we know it is telling me. And I do feel that there's probable cause, but is it good enough? Is it strong enough? The only real thing you got to get past with me for real is that sheath, but we'll see. Which tomorrow, when they do the scheduling, and there's going to probably be a series of motions they're going to talk about, and if they intend to dispute the death penalty, tomorrow is the time to bring up that motion.
It's listed in the document for the hearing.
Yeah,
So we'll see what
it's
happens.
going to be a lot of important things go over, and I know I've even gotten a little aggravated, and I love Judge. I feel like he does kind of need to put the foot down with both sides.
Yeah.
because both sides are trying to, do their thing and get away with pushing the envelope a little bit,
Right.
which go for it, but get on with things because we got to hear a bunch of motions pre-trial.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things come out pre-trial, and we need to get on with that because there's going to be a lot still to come, and we got to get through all of that to get to the trial. So they need
Agree.
to get busy tomorrow, lay the gavel down, and make them because I'm sorry, Ann's got a pretty damn good team, and they each have their own team. There's enough people to go through all that data. So how can you keep saying you don't have, but then you turn around and say, well, I got so much, we can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes no
Agreed.
sense. So I catch everything they say.
Right. Agreed. I do
But you're
agree.
going to cover it tomorrow? You're going to have it on?
Oh yeah, I'll be live around 12:15, 12:30, and it should pop on around 1. So
Yeah, so what is it, 10 a.m.
10,
their time?
it'll be 10 their time, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. So if you're interested in that and what's been going on with it, make sure you tune in, and we'll be covering it and then talking about it after the fact for a little bit. Moving on with that. So
It's going to be it should be a pretty interesting hearing.
yeah, I agree.
They're not doing the change of venue one tomorrow because that one got postponed until August.
Yeah. Well, I think they need to definitely approach the death penalty scenario first, out of at least up front before they get to that point anyway. And some other
Well,
things.
there's usually a process for all of it. And
Yeah.
everybody knew, even in especially, the legal sense, that the change of venue comes later. So it was like, this is really not a big deal right now anyway, but we're going to make it one for a minute. Okay. So I just sat back and waited. And sure enough, the defense decided they wanted to wait longer. So they did.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
I want to hear all the motions that are going to be taking place tomorrow.
Definitely. I'm interested to hear it. So we will be doing that tomorrow during the day for sure. So like I said, for those of you that are following it, tune in and we'll all do it together. So I did want to show you guys this. I thought this was a little bit interesting. It doesn't give an update to the remains that were found as to whether or not it was Caleb or not, but it does have a little, it does hit on something interesting with that. So I figured I would show you guys this as well. And then we can talk a little bit about that too.
Remains bore no obvious signs of homicide.
Yeah, the remains were located in.
We begin tonight with an update from the Corpus Christi Police Department on how the human remains discovered Monday afternoon at a wastewater lift station were found. This, as authorities say, the remains bore no obvious signs of homicide.
Yeah, the remains were located inside the wastewater installment over at Lexington and Holly Road. The collection points had to be 40 feet deep and had to be drained before first responders could attempt to retrieve them. Our Bill Churchville joins us right now with an update on that. Bill?
The remains were found by city workers who were doing maintenance and then called police. Investigators still have not found any link to missing person Caleb Harris, who disappeared from a nearby apartment complex back on March 4th. The medical examiner's office was unable to make an ID or provide a cause of death due to the advanced state of decomposition. And Corpus Christi police are trying to determine how the remains found their way into the wastewater lift station. Meantime, the remains are being sent to the University of North Texas Center for Human Identification. That's in Fort Worth. And tonight on 3 News at 6, I spoke with that center's tech leader, a major resource when it comes to identifying human remains from across the state. Back to you.
All right. Okay. So that's interesting. They're stating that they don't seem to have any foul play, I guess you could say. I guess they're
I guess
saying
that
that.
doesn't appear to be that way at this
Right.
point.
Right.
Until they
They don't
finish.
appear that way.
I mean, I guess that would mean they don't see a bunch of trauma.
Other than the generalized
From the look of it, they can't tell anything other than what they saw. So
So we'll see with that, but that's a little bit.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of info on that. And again, like Kimber said earlier, I think it's going to be a while before there's any kind of a real answer to that.
Excuse me. Usually it takes a few weeks, huh, to get that kind of stuff back, especially when
Yeah,
you're looking at Yeah, under these circumstances, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, the wastewater situation, it takes it a whole different route the way they have to be able to do it now because of the decomposition levels and stuff like that, the bacterial stuff like that. There's going to be a little bit of stuff they have to do, which is why they sent it to where they sent it, to try to make it happen faster by doing that, I guess they think, but we'll see. Who knows? Who knows? But like I said, I would expect it to be, well, let me see, where are we at? Probably no earlier than the end of July, maybe at the earliest. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, it'd probably take a minute. They
And
haven't identified the person yet, as far as I know. Well, they're saying they haven't yet.
right, and I feel really bad for Randy and his family having to sit now, knowing that these remains were found, and now having to sit and wait all this time to realize whether or not it's Caleb or not. That's got to be horrible.
They won't have to wait several weeks to know.
They
may
won't.
have to wait. Yeah, they may have to wait several weeks to know a cause of death on this body. But
Right.
as far as identifying this body, if they can do it with teeth or whatever, that's not
They
going to take long.
they may.
don't have to. Yeah,
They-
they
yeah.
don't have to tell us anything. I don't guess if the family don't want to. I guess there's protocol. I don't really know, but I guess if the family doesn't want us to know anything yet, I don't know. Would they release it yet?
Probably. Well, that's a good point. I don't know. It
I mean,
depends
you would
on.
think they would have to come out and say, normally they come out with something like, they won't release the name until the next of kin's notified. And then sometimes you don't hear any more about it. Random stuff around your area. And then sometimes you do, if it's something, you know what I mean? Just, it depends. But
Right.
this case, they know everybody's looking and wondering.
Absolutely.
So I feel like maybe
They
they'll
might.
come out and say something.
They may. Yeah. They may, just because of the type of people they are. They may make a statement. I can agree with
The
that.
family probably would, yeah. I don't know about the law enforcement there. I don't know how they roll over there in Corpus Christi.
Yeah. I don't think that there is a verdict. Was there a verdict on Karen's trial today?
As far as I know, there wasn't.
I think they left early. They weren't. They weren't able to come back yet with it. So we'll see.
Crazy stuff going down over there in the closing argument. I mean, my Lord. I'm like, whoa. I'm not going to be surprised if Karen Reed is acquitted.
I kind of, yeah. I was gonna say that myself and say how it's gonna be interesting how people react to it too.
And I didn't watch any of that I knew all that stuff was going on. I stayed as far away from it as I could. I didn't watch anything about this case. Didn't want to know. I did not want to know anything until I got in that courtroom and could hear things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if she's acquitted.
I'm right there with you on that one. Absolutely. Let me see.
Are you going to be? I'm waiting to find out if Judge Gull is going to let herself be a witness in the Delphi trial.
That's an interesting theory too. That's very
Well,
interesting.
the defense has come out and said she is going to be.
Wait a minute. Oh yeah, I know. Well, we got new dates set for that one. Trying to see something here. No. Oh yeah, it does say right here. Hold on a minute, guys. Let's see here.
Tonight in the Delphi murders case, a new round in the battle between the defense team and the judge.
Defense attorneys tonight say they must be able to call Judge Frances Gull as a witness, so she should step down from this case. The defense team claims she has information that helps them prove law enforcement acted in bad faith if not outright lie.
Also in today's 21-page filing, the defense detailed how it claims the judge is biased against them.
So they said they again plan to ask for cameras in every hearing during this trial, looking for transparency and to better preserve the record. Richard Allen, as you know, is scheduled to be tried this fall for the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German. And this trial is still 4 months away, and yet the costs of this case are really climbing.
Our senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel's on the case and joins us now with the latest numbers, which now have grown to more than $500,000.
The murder trial for Richard Allen has been delayed until October, and the longer this legal process drags on, the higher the costs. Allen has been behind bars for nearly 20 months awaiting trial. He has court-ordered public defenders who are representing him, which means Carroll County taxpayers are paying for his defense. 13 Investigates has learned Judge Francis Gall has so far approved about $443,000 to be paid to his defense team. The judge's staff did not break down that number for us, but it likely includes payments to Allen's lawyers, their legal staff expenses, and experts hired to prepare the defense. Most expenses for the prosecution are already built into the budgets for the Carroll County prosecutor and law enforcement. But 13 News has learned the prosecutor has spent an additional $183,000 to prepare its case, according to the county auditor. Altogether, at least $637,000 have been spent on the case through early June. 13 News legal analyst Katie Jackson-Lindsay says that number will go much higher once the trial actually begins, because the jury will be sequestered for more than a month, which is very expensive.
Those people have to be housed. Those people have to be fed. Because they're being sequestered, that's 3 meals a day. You also have to consider transportation. The jurors are going to have to be transported from whatever hotel location they're in to the courthouse each day. So that's the expense of maybe a charter bus. I think that will be the majority of the expense.
We do know Carroll County planned for about $2.1 million in total expenses related to the Delphi murders trial. With just over 20,000 residents in Carroll County, that translates to about $100 for every man, woman, and child in the county. 13 Investigates will continue to track the spending as well as all the new legal developments in Delphi. I'm Bob Siegel, 13 Investigates.
See, well, that's a lot less than what Kohberger's defense is getting right now. But the reason it didn't even go into the reasons what's going on with that. Remember the guy that was going to testify in court on Allen's behalf about his treatment in prison? He was also a prisoner.
Yes,
He was
yes.
subpoenaed to come to court. So his day comes to go to court. They go to get him. They claim he won't leave his cell. So then at some point, Tobe Lesenby, the sheriff, is contacted. He reaches Gull's office, tells her what's going on. They have a discussion. It's determined to leave him there in his cell and not force him to come or anything like that, breaking the subpoena. So anyway, but Judge Gull claimed it was, them saying he refused to leave the cell, and she really didn't tell nobody not to bring him. But Tobe Lesenby had stated in his deposition that her office said to leave him. So the defense is like, one of you is lying.
Right.
Which one is it? Is it Tobe or is it Gull? And so they're still trying to get her to recuse herself, and she had refused, so.
Well, if
that's
they
just
call
that's just the latest bizarre, of the many.
yes, and if they are able to call her and use her as a witness, she doesn't have a choice but to recuse herself, does she?
I don't think so, but one of them is lying.
Mm.
And that's, when we've all had suspicions of, especially Tobe, for a long, long time. But, the more, it's just this freaking case, dude, I swear.
Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess and a half.
And we're still fighting to get cameras.
Well,
We're going to be able to watch this whole entire Kohberger hearing tomorrow, get everything there is to know about it. He's going to be sitting there nice and neat in his suit, as it should be.
Yeah, like every jury or every trial should be, or every hearing should be. And
Every pretrial. These are all pretrial hearings. They were arrested a month apart.
None of this,
so
yeah,
it's
none of
crazy.
Delphi has been that way at all. So yeah,
It's crazy. I hope that they can I hope that she, you have to wonder, why is she won't even allow a camera? She had claimed that because the camera started too early and picked up things she didn't want it to pick up. We're like, well, control the camera in the courtroom the way go view other courtrooms, lady.
Well, here's the good thing. If by some chance it works out and she does have to recuse herself or whatever, once she does, and we get it, maybe there will be allowed to be cameras in the courtroom once a new judge is appointed, possibly. So that would be the best case scenario, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Well, even the Supreme Court didn't think what she did was bad enough for her to recuse herself.
I still don't
They
understand.
did make her go back and correct what she did do.
Right.
Right. But they didn't. They said that they had to go back and take it to a lower court first. So then they tried. They did. They took it back to her. That was the only route, and she said, "No, I'm not doing it."
Mm-hmm.
And then
I'd still like to know why. I'd still like to know what her play is.
yeah,
on
why
this
she
whole
won't.
thing.
Or
Exactly.
okay, I can see if you don't want to recuse yourself. I get it. But why
Sure.
would you deny them? Why would you deny a defense team every hearing they've ever asked for?
Mhm.
Damn near every hearing.
Yeah,
And right
she's
now,
denied.
her hands have been forced for these 3 days of hearings we have coming up at the end of the month or at the end of July.
Right. Right. Yeah, she's denied every motion just about that's been put in front of her about everything. It's pretty crazy, guys.
She's denied 3 different motions to move him back to a county jail,
Mm-hmm.
even though when the first judge moved him, what was it? Within days of his arrest,
3 days. Yes, 3 days.
the judge signed off to have him moved to the prison. He signed it, and 2 hours later, he recused himself because he said it was dangerous. Like,
he
well, y'all just arrested this dude. How dangerous is this? But okay. And then they've asked 3 more times to have him move back to county, and she's still saying no. They're still trying, by the way. So I don't know.
He should have never went to he should have never been to prison anyway, guys. He was sent to prison before he was ever tried, looked at, talked in anything. Never. It was like within 3 days period. It was ridiculous. And I've never seen it done before. So
Not like that. And they said it was for safekeeping. That's what the wording in the documents are called, safekeeping. But
Mhm.
there's another county that literally offered to take him. That said,
Yeah.
we can house him. He can come here. And the judge still said no. And they were having the issues at Westville where the Odinistic guards who had to be court ordered to remove their Odinist patches and then went out and got a face tattoo. But when they decided to move him from there, she moved him 3 hours further away. I don't know why.
Crazy, crazy, crazy,
Yeah.
crazy, guys. It really is. You don't see these things. Things have changed so much in the court systems and the trials and all these different. I mean, there's so many different things going on. It's just crazy. Bobby says, if a prisoner has the right to leave his cell, does he have the right to return to his cell?
Well, yes and no. Yes.
That's an interesting question, though.
And that they can't, in some cases, it depends a lot of times it's state to state too. But even like Adam Montgomery wasn't even forced to go to his own trial. And me and Mom were talking last about Stearns. He hasn't went to his court hearings yet, but the way the judge, Mom says she understood it, the way it's written, he will be forced to go to court for his trials, right? So, with what happened with the witness with the subpoena from the prison, though, that whole thing is just about the sheriff and her communicating, and there they are wanting, everything like anti against the defense, but then one of them has lied, and something is not right there, and that's the things that the defense keeps pointing out, and I know there was a lot of weird. Okay, you don't collect blood in a solo cup like you did in Karen Reed, and you
No.
don't, and then over here you got these you can't have hearings and stuff. The things I've seen going on in those cases, I haven't seen in Kohberger's case.
No.
I've seen probable cause, but I don't know how strong any of that is behind that probable cause affidavit. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I have no clue how how, and if you Bloom says it ain't much stronger than what they've already got. If you listen to anything he says,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
And
because
here,
you can say all you want about Brian Kohberger, was going to come down to that damn evidence.
oh, that's gonna be it in itself. Yes. And Bobby, yeah, I agree that this judge has already created so many reasons for appeal due to her remarks. Listen,
That's why the defense is very careful about trying to get
right.
everything on the record with her. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of appeals for that case because of her.
Absolutely.
Which some have speculated, is that why she's doing some of the stuff she does too. I mean, it's weird. Never seen it either.
Very weird. This next one we're looking at, I'm sure you all know this is probably the comic relief of the evening for everything. The Sarah Boone trial and situation in itself has been completely insane from the very first second that I looked at it. She's on her 8th lawyer. She writes these massive letters to the judges. She's insulting to everybody around. I mean, this case just doesn't make any sense to me as to why she's allowed to do everything she's doing in this. Okay. It's evident as to what she did. There's no two ways to look at anything else. There's no way for her to deny what she did, because she stood there and filmed it with the phone. She knows she did. You can see her holding the phone. She didn't deny that she did. I mean, it is what it is with this one, guys. But to watch the way that these things have been happening, like I said, it's almost the comic relief. It's not funny because somebody died, but this part of this is just insane to me. And I thought I would show you guys this as well because of that. This is from yesterday, actually. So here we go.
The process of getting a bond. You're not getting out, Sarah. News flash. You're in there for murder.
I'm doing my best to let everyone know who I really am, as opposed to the malicious murderer that everyone thinks I am.
Oh, you kill one person. You kill one person, you're a murderer. You suck one, you're a cocksucker. I mean, give me a break.
Such as, why can't I have a bond? Why can't I have it downloaded on my phone? Why can't I speak to my investigator?
Let's see. Why can't you have a bond? Because you're in there for murder. Okay, that's number one. Why can't you have your phone? Well, because it's evidence you can't have it. It's contraband in the jail. Okay, and she probably has been told that many times. Ugh.
I don't understand what it is that she has against me. I have told her from.
Gee, what did the other 8 lawyers have against you? I mean, hey, she hit one of her lawyers. I mean, rumor has it she tried to put another lawyer in a backpack.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And he's going to react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm your personal board-certified criminal defense lawyer, Bruce Rivers, along with our content genius that we know as who? Michael Rivers. He's just an amazing son to have. The reason why I say that is because he's behind all the content. He's the reason that we've blown up to be almost 1.2 million subscribers. And we thank each and every one of you. I'm going to start with Steve and Bill. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to thank every one of you, but collectively, we thank you guys for supporting our channel. And also supporting our channel is eforms.com. Eforms.com is a very effective way to avoid a high cost sale because, okay, so why are we here today? What do we react? Oh, what's Bruce's episode about today? Well, it's our good old friend, Sarah Boone. Remember Sarah Boone? Let's just kind of do a little recap of what Sarah Boone was about to begin with. Sarah had some luggage. Sarah had some.
Yes, Kat.
Really, I don't know if it was Samsonite or not, but she had some nice teal colored luggage that she put her boyfriend in, and he fucking died.
I love this guy.
Third, help me. I mean, he's in that fucking suitcase right there. How the hell why and how he got in that suitcase is beyond me. So she calls the cops and then weaves this weird story. But what she didn't know is that this video was on her phone. And we'll get into a little bit more about why she's in court here today, but let's just kind of recap a little bit.
For everything you've done to me.
Everything you've done to me. She's drunk.
For everything you've done to me. Fuck you.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Sarah.
Stupid.
Sarah.
That's my name. Don't wear it up.
Hear the callousness in her voice. Now, maybe she had been abused by him. I don't know if that's true or not. There's a battered woman, battered spouse syndrome. In other words, you've been beaten so many times, the only way out of it is to kill your attacker.
Sarah, I can't fucking breathe, babe. Seriously.
Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me.
So right there, she knows that he's in distress. She knows that, he can't breathe. And she doesn't give one shit. And if you look at the statement, for everything you've done to me, it's revenge, right? That's not a defense. I mean, she could call 911 here so easily. But what kills me is she did not realize that this video was on her phone. So when she's talking to the cops in her interview, she has no clue, as they're asking her questions, that this video is on her phone. Now, what brings us today? Why are we talking about Sarah Boone? I mean, she's a creep. I mean, what is she doing? Well, she's on her 8th lawyer. So she's back in court. She's on her 8th lawyer. She's written letters to the court constantly. She is the world's worst client you could ever want. And I think she just sees the writing on the wall, but she's just trying to delay.
Judge, I've obviously not seen the letter. Ms. Boone is correct. She has walked out of the last 2 visits when I've tried to review things with her. Just so the court knows, I've spent probably 20 hours, a little bit more, a little bit less, with Ms. Boone. She has lots of lists, lots of questions in reviewing the court file. She was distressed previously about having access to her lawyers. I have taken collect phone calls from her that are at my expense. JAC doesn't reimburse you because I think it's important for clients to have access.
So one of the things about representing a client like Sarah Boone, it's almost impossible. There's nothing you can do that's ever right. And she just is going to find fault no matter what you do.
I have spent,
Please, no one's interrupted you this morning, Ms. Boone.
as I said, I've spent over 20 hours going through her questions, going through her list. When I tried to update her with regard to the depositions that I took recently, she opted to exit the jail conference. When I tried to
See, I have to think this is pathetic. That she's allowed to get away with what she's been allowed to do. What happened is horrifically disgusting on her side of things. Regardless of what this guy has done in the past, her boyfriend, you don't have the right to take somebody's life. None of that is funny at all. And some of the comments he makes are funny, but he does bring good facts. In my opinion, of course. I think what she's doing is she's using the system, and this is again just my opinion. I think she's using the system to delay the inevitable. She knows she's done. She knows that she's going to go, and she knows she's going to get pretty much, especially with what she's done now, they're going to throw the book at her. And I mean, 2 of them probably. So she's doing nothing but delaying the inevitable. And I don't understand how. I mean, she's obviously kind of smart because she's doing it right to the line of where they'll stop allowing her to get away with it, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? So she's playing this damn game with them right to that edge, and then she stops.
She's taking advantage of her constitutional rights.
Exactly, 100%. And it's disgusting to me that there's nothing that can be done about her doing what she's doing. And that's why I think when this is all said and done, she's going to be really full of regret for all the bullshit she pulled on everybody, because it's kind of like a mutated version of the boy who cried wolf, in my opinion. They're going to just throw her to the wolves, and that's it. Nobody's going to care at that point. They have to do it legally, but nobody's going to feel for her at all. Not for anything she can try to claim, for any abuse he put against her, which could have made her do it, whatever she. No, not at this point. Maybe in the beginning she could have been looked at that way. He was abusive towards her. She was abusive towards him. It was blah, 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 blah. At this point, she's flushed to that, in my opinion. And I think she's done, and it's just dragging it on and on and on. until they're just gonna. I'm waiting for this judge to just say, you know what, that's enough. We're done with you. Here's the trial date. We're doing this, and it's gonna be a quick one, and they're done. That's my opinion, but that's what I think is gonna happen. Oh, you're good, Fox. Don't worry about it, brother.
Review some things with regard to discovery as to things I wanted to make sure she was aware of. She walked out. She has asked me repeatedly for a copy of some medical records. Based on the discovery I got from the previous attorneys, one of the copies of those medical records, he had her handwritten notes. So she had a copy given to her previously.
So when you have a client like this, you know, the client has certain allegations, you have certain obligations. In other words, the client is responsible for deciding whether they testify or not, and whether they settle the case or not. Those are the main things that our client is in charge of. The rest of it's kind of the lawyer's, you know, duty and decision to handle the case in terms of legal strategy. It just is.
Reviewed them with previous attorneys. I sent her a new copy. Some of the things that she thinks are important from a lawyer perspective, her hips I don't attach the same importance to, and you try to explain that to a client.
Yeah, a lot of times a client, well, I want you to do this, this, and this. Like, for example, in Trump's trial, you know, he had to call that witness. You know, that did not help him at all. I guarantee you that was Trump's decision to call that witness, not the lawyers.
You know, I know the court's in a difficult position, but at this point, we're at that impasse of if she walks out of every conference that I have with her, I'm not sure what that says about the attorney-client relationship.
It's unclear to me what is she trying to do there. It's unclear to me what she's trying to do, if she's trying to withdraw at this point because there's an irretrievable breakdown of the attorney-client relationship. But I mean, I think she just needs to just get in and out of this hearing. She's already talking too much.
Ma'am, you said there was something else that you had other than a 58
Good way to put it, Cass.
Submittal or letter. What other information is it that you're seeking to have me take a look at?
It's things that I've been working on in the meantime. It's things that she likes to tell me is not necessary, but I know for a fact it is necessary. She likes to, in quotes, put things to rest all the time and constantly tells me I'm not having this conversation with you. So I'm not going to waste my time, and I, being in jail, have supposedly abundant amounts of. She's not going to waste my time because she's not going to explain something to me. And I have taken it upon myself to explain it to myself because she refuses to do so. I don't understand what it is that she has against me. I have told her from.
Gee, what did the other 8 lawyers have against you? I mean, fucking A. I mean, she hit one of her lawyers. I mean, rumor has it she tried to put another lawyer in a backpack. I'm kidding about that, actually. But I mean, she's impossible.
Day one, her snotty attitude was inappropriate. And
snotty attitude? Who's got the snotty attitude?
I try very hard to bear with her and her attitude. I don't know what it is that I'm doing wrong to her, but I feel that her attitude has equal prejudice, which is not in my favor, especially considering she's supposedly representing my life.
Okay. Give me an example of, if you could, of items that you believe are important Ms. Cashman is not giving attention to or dismissing as you may have framed it.
Yes, Your Honor. She likes to tell me that I don't like her answers. She's not giving me any answers to this. I've written 3 pages worth of questions, but I'm still waiting for her and any other attorney to actually answer for me.
So if this lawyer doesn't want to answer, you know, her litany of questions, and the other lawyers don't want to answer her litany of questions, you know, it's got to be frustrating for her because she probably thinks some of this stuff is important, but she's also probably just a complete and utter fucking pain in the ass. That's probably what, there's no question about that. And it's really difficult when you have a client like this because it's like they go down every road that has nothing to do with the facts of your case. And they'll talk about I had a client like this, and he had gone to trial with somebody else, and I was doing his appeal, and he wanted to talk about everything other than the case itself. And he never once talked about the facts of the case. It was just absolutely ridiculous.
Such as, why can't I have a bond? Why can't I have it downloaded on my phone? Why can't I speak to my investigator?
Let's see. Why can't you have a bond? Because you're in there for murder. Okay, that's number one. Why can't you have your phone? Well, because it's evidence you can't have it as contraband in the jail. Okay, and she probably has been told that many times. Ugh.
Why can't I have my medical records? Why can't I fully utilize my constitutional rights? They're free to answer the questions that I
What constitutional rights specifically?
I'm very leery about having a fair trial at this point. There's a handful of other amendments that I have been.
Let's look at the facts of her case, and what's her defense? It's on video. I can't breathe. I mean, he's in a suitcase, and you don't give a shit, and it's all on video. The crime is 100% on video. So the issue isn't what happened. The issue is just really legally, what does it mean?
Researching and working on trying to incorporate. To me, what I have written to you is obvious, and apparently from the correspondence that I get from the world, South Korea was the last place I received correspondence. They obviously see the same thing. So
That's one of the worst things that can happen to a lawyer is when your client's in jail getting all kinds of advice from either inmates or, in Sarah's case, she's become this YouTube celebrity. And I'm sure there are guys wanting to marry her that she's in jail. The morons, your bosses are leaving. And so she thinks, oh, I'm getting validation from everybody but my lawyer. But the lawyer is the only one that knows the facts of the case. The lawyer is the only one that you really should trust, honestly. And so she thinks everybody's against her because the facts of her case are so shitty.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong other than wanting to have a very successful outcome. It's just been long and drawn out, and I believe that God obviously believes in me as much as I do him in order to give me this very unique.
She wants a very successful outcome. Well, so does the government. And let me tell you something. Your case is on TV. I mean, everybody knows what your case is about.
Adventure that I am on, and I'm doing my best to let everyone know who I really am as opposed to the malicious murderer that everyone thinks I am.
Oh, you kill one person. You kill one person, you're a murderer. You suck one cock, you're a cocksucker. I mean, give me a break.
I don't feel that she can do that properly. I still always, the reason why I'm here is hope. Is to hope that she will come in with a gentle, softer side and actually listen to what it is I'm saying and see a bigger picture other than what.
Let's see. She wants a gentler, softer fucking side. Sarah Boone, who showed no gentle side, no softness to her boyfriend who was zipped up in his in her Samsonite teal colored rollaway. I mean, give me a freaking break. You know, I'm sure when the lawyer first engaged representation, the lawyer was like, okay, let's go. I'm sure that way, but it's as you go along and she just becomes this complete and utter pain in the ass. You know, she's on her 8th lawyer. If I was a judge, I'd say, okay, this is it. You are not getting another lawyer. You want to represent yourself? You're more than welcome to. You're going to have standby counsel, and this is going to be your standby counsel. There's no lawyer that's going to satisfy you. So you can either have this lawyer or you can represent yourself with standby counsel. That's it. Judges in a situation like this are so deathly afraid of a reversal because of some procedural right to counsel issue. I guarantee you that's why they're entertaining all this, because you don't want her to go to trial without a lawyer because it's just a recipe for disaster. However, when she's on her 8th lawyer and she herself is the one sabotaging these relationships, candor probably for a delay, and because she's listening to jailhouse snitches and not snitches, but jailhouse lawyers and the public who was writing her letters, and reinforcing her BS.
The one avenue that she keeps going down, there's other ways to win and more than one way. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not saying that I'm trying to remove her. I'm just trying to ask you, please, forgive me for having to ask you for this. If you could please let her know, please, to just be nice to me and have a welcoming attitude, and things will probably change, and I will not get up and I won't.
Be nice to me.
Yeah, P. She's been in front of the same judge every time, and you can see in his eyes when she starts to speak immediately, he dies a little more inside every time she opens her mouth. It is so, it's pathetic. This is so ridiculous at this point. And she's been sitting in jail for 4 years, going on 5, I think now.
It's insane.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense why this is there should be a statute that says, okay, you can do this, you have rights. Yes. Okay. But at some point you're abusing the system. Enough. You're done. And you can argue till you want. This is the legal system. This isn't somebody you worked for and you just don't like what they said to you and you're going to argue until they change their mind. It doesn't work that way, she's just not there, guys. She's not getting it. It's just not processing. Or it is, and she's very smart and she knows what she's doing. But you got to understand at some point, you can delay this for 5, 6, 10 years. At some point, it's going to end and you're going to get your due process, and the answer is coming. You got to deal with it sooner or later. Face the music. And most people you'd think would have accepted this at some point and said, hey, I screwed up. Let's do it. Let's get it over with. Let's be done. She may not even get a very horrible sentence because of the circumstance. It is. Just take it and deal with it. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. Thank you, Doodle. I don't see who got it, but congrats to whoever did get that. Thank you for the membership, Doodlebug. Crazy like a fox. Who was it?
P Fox.
Oh, well, congratulations, P Fox. And welcome to the sauce. Yeah, I'm kind of there with you, Bobby, at this point. I don't know if he is afraid of a like he said, a turnover or whatever. But just come on, dude. Like, shut her down. 8 lawyers, for God's sakes. I've never seen anything like it. But hey, and these letters that she writes, oh my God. You'd think they were coming from, somebody that has some comments, some real sense, which I don't think she has, which makes me wonder, is she sitting with somebody in there and they're telling her what to write? Somebody that's been sitting in there for a while that's saying, this is what you need to do here and that's what you need to do there. She just never came across as that smart to me, but I could be wrong.
She has a law library too.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
she's armed with a law library and probably inmates that she's manipulated to help her, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good point. Very good point.
Good night, Ann.
Have a welcoming attitude.
Oh, are you going to bed, Ann? Have a great night, hon. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you very much.
So says the woman who says, I don't give a fuck that you're, zipped up in a Samsonite rollaway. Give me a break. The thing with a public defender is she's not going to lose business by being curt. And sometimes a lawyer has to give it to you straight. Do you want a lawyer that's just happy? Oh, we're going to win your case, hands down. And I just, when we go into court, we'll just do whatever you say, Sarah, and we're going to win your case. And I'm so lucky to be your lawyer. Fuck that. Here's the deal, Sarah. You're fucked. You're absolutely fucked. And here's why you're fucked. It's on video. And your callous attitude is going to be an aggravating factor. This is what you need to do. Boom, 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 whatever that happens to be. That's what you want in a lawyer. You want a lawyer that's going to give it to you straight, not give you happy Gilmore news, every time you turn around. That's not what it's about.
Please don't lie to me. Please don't give me half-truths. And
What instances where there's been falsities or lies that have been told to you by Ms. Cashman? Can you give?
See, the judge is questioning her now, and the judge and that's smart to do because when did she lie to you? What did she say? And I guarantee you, watch her response. I've seen this 1,000 times. Her response is going to be a non-response. She's not going to be able to come up with one. Just watch. I haven't seen this. This is a cold reaction.
Give me an example.
my biggest one, Your Honor, is for me being here ongoing 5 years, no one has ever bothered to try to get me a bond.
What's the lie?
See, right? What is the lie? I've been in here for 5 years and no one's has tried to get me a bond. Is that a lie? See, I told you, her first response is going to be a non-response.
Lie. You said that she has lied to you. What is the lie?
The process of getting a bond.
The process of getting a bond. You're not getting out, Sarah. News fucking flash. You're in there for murder. People generally, unless you're, really wealthy and can afford $1 million to $10 million bond, depending upon the kind of case, you're not getting out. 9 times out of 10, murder suspects that are in there for a homicide are in there either without bond or a very high bond that you can't get.
She lied to my brother in regards to telling him that he would need to come down to the courthouse to have multiple photographs taken for documentation and he would have to bring security information.
So she wrote a 58-page letter to the court. First of all,
this guy's name is Bruce Rivers, for those of you that were asking, just so you know.
Courts hate that because they go, oh, we got a pain in the ass. And although it's 5 years later, they already know she's a pain in the ass. And she's a fixture at the courthouse, I guarantee you. Everybody knows her. Everybody knows she's a pain in the ass. But you get a 58-page letter that, okay, now everybody's got to read it. The lawyer's got to read it. She's got to read it. I don't even know if I would read it. I would just because it's just full of gobbledygook. Case apparently it's handwritten by her, which is even worse because if you ever try to read somebody else's handwriting, it's a pain in the ass, and everything she writes is a pain in the ass, and none of it. I don't know how she gets 58 pages, but I would be shocked if a judge read that whole thing, because what happens with me is, a client will send a letter to the judge and the judge won't even read it. They'll send it back to me saying you're represented by counsel, blah, blah, blah. So Sarah is now going to, I can't believe they haven't tried this case yet. I just can't believe it. Every time if a lawyer quits or she fires them, they have to delay and get a new trial date because they got to get new counsel appointed, right? Then that counsel says, well, I need time to prepare because I don't know anything about this case. I haven't read any. And that's why if I was a judge, I would not let the lawyer withdraw. I would tell them, you guys are going to work together or you're going to represent yourself. You have the right to counsel. You don't have the right to the counsel of your choosing necessarily. I mean, you can hire your own lawyer, but a judge can say, you're not hiring that lawyer. Like in some of the mob cases, Bruce Cutler was disqualified. And you can be disqualified as a lawyer. But in this case, I would put an end to it if I was the judge. I'd say, you know what? You guys are going to have to work together. I'm sorry. You've already dismissed 7 other lawyers. This is the 8th lawyer on staff for you. And you either go with this lawyer or you represent yourself. And if you're going to represent yourself, this lawyer will be your standby counsel. Get along, figure it out. But we're not delaying this trial anymore. Too many judges are like, I don't know. I don't want to get reversed on appeal. And it's like, fuck that. Just get her done. And the long and short of it is, Sarah's just delaying the inevitable. I mean, her callous attitude in that video, her, the whole crime is on recording, so we'll see what happens. And we'll follow this. We'll see. But I think it's just comical. And it's an example of a really difficult defendant. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your board certified criminal defense lawyer, accompanied with our content genius. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, sign up for Patreon, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
So I just thought I would throw a little in kind of a version of comedy relief in there because it is kind of comical how she's been acting through this whole thing. Ridiculous at most, but kind of comical. The situation, like I said, is a very sad thing. And I'll be honest with you, I remember her talking about the first video I watched on it when 911 was called. Okay, when they showed up, she was freaking out about her boyfriend's family wanting to kill her, she said. And I have to wonder if some of them, because I know she talked about there were some very bad people in his family, if some of them might be in prison. And if she's scared to death to go to prison because of what she did to him, that she's trying to stay out because of that. Maybe. Or she's just delaying the inevitable because she thinks it's going to change something. I don't know. But it's a crazy situation either way, you guys. It really is. Like I said, I thought I'd just throw that in there for you guys to see.
I don't get it because prison is not like county. Like she's in county where it's not pretty. I mean, that is not.
But she doesn't know that though. She doesn't know that. She doesn't know that. Not yet, at least. Not yet, at least. A couple new things I wanted to show you guys too. One of them was really interesting in some ways, and the other one was really sad. Where is it? Oh yeah, this one was newer. Hold on a minute. Hold on. All right. Okay.
terrible tragedy has struck a Florida family. Just a few years after a teen was killed in an apparent accidental shooting, his sister is now dead as well. Her death is still shrouded in mystery. We're discussing what we know so far in the case and what might be happening behind the scenes with Police Sergeant Kyle Schoberg. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. The Florida family is once again in mourning after the death of Ava Hewlett. She just turned 19 a few weeks ago, but earlier this month, Ava died at home after a night out with friends. This is so strange. According to an attorney for the family, Ava was hanging out with friends at Pelican Larry's Raw Bar in Fort Myers on June 15th, and apparently she and at least one friend had some sort of medical emergency. So Ava went to the hospital. She was released a few hours later. Her mom took her back to the family home, but by around noon, she found her daughter dead on the bedroom floor. Ava's dad performed CPR, but a medic pronounced Ava dead. The Lee County Sheriff's Department opened up a homicide investigation. They've not named any suspects. They haven't confirmed Ava's cause or manner of death. Autopsy results are still pending. But deputies say they don't have any evidence that restaurant staff is to blame. Now, Anthony Rickman, the Hewlett family attorney, told media outlets, if it is a poisoning circumstance, it's our belief that it was an intentional act by another third party that caused the medical situation for Ava Hewlett. Ava's mother, Megan, wrote in a now deleted Facebook post that Ava did not take her own life or ingest any dangerous substances knowingly. She even says that her daughter told her at one point during her medical episode that she didn't want to die. And do you remember how I said that the Hewlett family is in mourning again? Well, that's because in 2019, Ava's older brother, James Bradley Hewlett, was shot and killed by a friend. According to police, the 15-year-old was hanging out with friends at one of the boys' homes when they picked the lock of his parents' bedroom and found a gun that belonged to the father, a Tampa police detective. The boys started playing with the gun, this is according to the report, and Bradley was shot and killed. The friend who pulled the trigger was charged with manslaughter. He was given pretrial diversion so that his record could be eventually expunged. The Tampa police officer was disciplined for not properly securing the firearm. And now the family is dealing with the loss of another child. It's heartbreaking to think about this. Megan Hewlett wrote on Facebook in another post, quote, how do you go from the perfect family to completely broken? There's not even a glimpse of joy in this family. It's an effing nightmare. Someone wake me up. I will not survive another funeral. I will not survive another cremation. I will not survive another homicide investigation. I cannot survive without my babies. Now, Ava and Bradley apparently had a younger sister as well, who's now in high school. It's just our hearts and our prayers go out to this family. It's unimaginable what they're going through. But I do want to get more into the actual investigation here. And for that, let me bring in Kyle Schoberg, a sergeant out of North California, co-instructor of the Patrol Survival Tactics Seminar and host of the Shots Fired podcast. Kyle, good to have you back on. What do you think law enforcement are doing right now behind the scenes?
Well, this is a horrible and tragic story, and my condolences also go out to the Hewlett family. This is terrible. Right now, I would suspect that the investigators are waiting for toxicology reports and the coroner report to come back. All of those things take a little bit of time. But in an investigation like this, you're going to rely heavily on that, and then you're going to have to go back and comb through. The investigator's going to have to go back and comb through video surveillance and get into her cell phone and just kind of walk back her life that day and figure out everything that she was doing, who she was communicating with, and see if they can come up with something. But these investigations do take a little bit of time.
If they're calling it a homicide investigation, let's be clear on what that means and what that doesn't mean, Kyle.
Okay, so they're calling this a homicide investigation because a healthy 19-year-old doesn't just die. So if there's no cause or explanation to her death, they will rule it a homicide until they prove otherwise. So that's the route that they're taking right now. And again, investigations like this just take a little bit of time to get these actual reports back before they can start diving deeper into it.
Once they get the reports back, how quickly will they alert the media and the public to what's happening? Or if someone was really responsible for what happened to Ava, would we see an arrest before we see the release of those reports?
Well, I don't think the agency is going to release a whole lot once they get some of these medical results back, because they have to keep the integrity of the investigation close. So they'll get those reports back, hopefully in a timely manner. They'll start their investigation based on that. The problem is that some of these drugs or things that she could have ingested only would stay in her body for up to 8, 5, maybe sometimes 12 hours. Like GHB can be tested, which is, we all know, is a common drug that people use to the date rape drug against women. So those are very hard to test for. That has to be done in a timely manner. But once that does come out, I think the agency will probably keep that close, and then they will really start their deep dive into the investigation once they get all of that.
Can we focus on that aspect a little bit more in the sense that, and yes, I'm speculating right now, but you heard the lawyer talk about poisoning. In your experience, let's say she had this medical episode, she went to the hospital for a while in the early morning hours and then dies hours later. In your experience, is that consistent with a poison, with a type of poison?
Yeah, it would appear to me that that's probably what happened. And when she initially went to the hospital, maybe they didn't suspect that, or things weren't communicated properly to medical staff. Who knows? We're speculating on that. They'll obviously look into that. But yeah, I mean, these types of things just sometimes can go undetected. And a lot of the times you're having to go based on what is the patient or the victim's symptoms. And, I don't know what she was feeling like. It sounds like her other friend also got sick, who also had to be taken to the hospital. So that would lead me to believe that somebody put something either in their drink or caused them both to ingest something that made them sick, ultimately killing Ava.
Hey, everybody, I just want to take a quick second to thank Upside for sponsoring this episode of Sidebar. So Upside is a free app that gets you cash back on daily essentials like gas, groceries, actual, real cash back, no confusing reward. You pay as usual using a debit or credit card, and Dairy Queen, Domino's, KFC, Taco Bell on every gallon on Larry's location had apparently closed or temporarily closed down earlier in June after 8 violations were noted during a health inspection. So some of the violations were considered intermediate, like dogs being permitted in an outdoor area without a specific ordinance that allowed that. But then there were also what is titled high priority violations, like flying insects in the kitchen area and ready-to-eat foods that were marked with a date more than 7 days after the food's opening. The restaurant temporarily closed on June 7th. It had a follow-up inspection, which they passed. And while police have said that the restaurant staff is not to blame, it is interesting to note that this location had these kinds of issues. So assuming this is accurate, and we're not casting any blame or aspersions, but what would you make of that? Do you think, have you ever seen a case where a restaurant maybe perhaps violated the health code and someone got sick as a result of it, or in this case, potentially died? Are charges ever brought in those kinds of cases?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, as a cop, especially as a beat cop, you're going into restaurants all the time, sometimes after hours during alarm calls, and I've seen some pretty disgusting things in restaurants. So if that is the case and they have all these violations, I mean, something happened to these girls that caused them to be sick. Now, if it was the food or they have, did have all these violations, and they're definitely going to go back and look at that. And I'm sure a lot of their food product is going to be tested. Her autopsy is going to be pretty telling in what was in her stomach. They'll test all that. But I would say that's probably pretty rare that somebody would get food poisoning, from eating at a restaurant to the point of dying. I wouldn't say that happens very commonly. I would say, though, to answer your question, would they go after the restaurant or the owners of the restaurant? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's negligent.
Sure.
They will absolutely be held accountable for that.
You're talking about, of course, a lawsuit, a legal case. Look, we don't know. We just saw that this restaurant had this. We don't know if it's any way connected to what happened to Ava, but it is something to note that she had this medical episode after being at this restaurant, and then she ultimately later dies. So we shall see. And again, no one has been charged or in connection with this. I want to take you back to the human element for.
See, I don't think that's what it was, because she got sick. She got checked out, I believe, but she went home. Or she was okay, and then she went home, and then by noon the next day she was gone. So that doesn't make sense to me. Something doesn't match with that. That almost sounds like a poisoning, some form of poisoning, not food poisoning, other type of poisoning or something. I'd like to know what the autopsy results were on that.
For a second, Kyle, as I mentioned, this is a family that has already been suffering. And if you're in this case and you have to talk to this family about the loss of another one of their children or another sister or another sibling, how do you have that conversation with a family who's already lost so much?
It's really difficult. It's hard to have a conversation with anybody that's lost anybody, but not alone a child. Now she's lost two of her children. Look, the hard part too about being an investigator or a police officer is sometimes, you need answers and you have to ask tough questions, and it's tough. A lot of times we'll bring support with us. We can bring chaplains to help us kind of walk through that. But at the end of the day, we do have to ask hard questions, and we need those answers. And sometimes the only people that know those answers are relatives or family members. So it's just being as sympathetic and having empathy, and just being a human being, take away the badge and what our job title is. I mean, we're also human, and I think just getting to that level, and a lot of us have kids of our own, so we can sympathize for somebody like that. But that's just what it comes down to. That's one of the most difficult parts, I think, of this job.
And how do you relay information to the family during the course of this investigation? So if
Good night, Andy.
Autopsy reports, or let's say someone really was behind this and they have a person of interest or a suspect, how much typically does law enforcement tell the family in advance of an action or the status of an investigation?
So I think you want to tell the family as much as you possibly can. You want to keep them in the loop, right? Sometimes the problem might be if you release information, you just don't know who's going to get hear or get a hold of that information. So sometimes if you have to keep things tight-lipped, you have to do that for the integrity of the case and then explain that on the back end of the family. But by and large, for these types of investigations, especially involving a 19-year-old girl, I mean, the department is going to probably keep the family as much up to date on the investigation as they possibly can.
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, sometimes
That was the other thing I was thinking of when I said the poisoning type thing. I remember that it was a dinner party, and this girl's there were no mushrooms, I believe, in the salad, but then there were. They went back and checked a video or something and saw that they were, and she had gone in there and added them to. I thought that was kind of a crazy case too. I remember that. Good
That
point.
wasn't far from Carr.
No, it was really wild too. And it's like I said, it's these people walk amongst us, everyone, that they do these things. It's really crazy. You see these things on movies and TV shows, and you're like, that can't really ever happen. And then it does, and you're like, wow. You know what I mean? It's just crazy.
Yeah, she sent me the news article on it, and I was reading it with my mouth hung open. I was like, what the Lord? And then like 2 days later, it all came out.
Right. Exactly. It's crazy. I got to wonder, but what would be a motive with this little girl? That's the thing too,
What was the
I'm
name
just
of the
wondering.
restaurant? Did you hear it?
I did, and I can't think about it. We'll get it. I'll get it back here
So
in a
she's
minute.
19 years old, so I'm not putting blame on anybody. I'm just brainstorming. She's 19 years old. What if somebody she knew worked there?
Worked at the restaurant that didn't like her, that was jealous of her or something, because she's a pretty girl. Boyfriends, and this girls are jealous of boyfriends or whatever. I mean, it could have been an accidental thing. It could have been a very purposely done thing. It could have been either,
I mean, it sounds crazy. It could have been a food allergy.
That too. That's another thing I was thinking of here a little bit ago, but I'm thinking the hospital might have caught that and done something about it. That's my thought. But I don't know. This was interesting to me when I was reading.
You know what I mean?
True.
Did they do a skin test? You know what I mean? Where they
That's
do
what I
the
mean.
skin test to see what you're allergic to? Like, I didn't realize till about 10 years ago how deathly toxic peanut butter is to certain people. Like, I worked with a girl that couldn't be in the room with like the dust.
Oh yeah, you can. There's somebody.
Yeah, you can't. Peanut allergies are nothing to play with. I live next to a damn field growing peanuts right now. But normally, so usually if you die though from that, would there be indicators? I mean, they would know. So
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The hospital sent her home. I'm sure they did blood work on her, and they would be able to tell by the blood work like what was, or maybe they didn't. Maybe that's where the problem lies.
Well, that could have been a crappy hospital. I mean,
Right. That's the other side, because that does happen too. I'm just when I read this story, I was really kind of mesmerized as to that, like, what really happened. You know what I mean? I was curious. So
there's just certain things that you got to keep tight-lipped until you can develop the entire investigation and hopefully come up with some type of suspect or probable cause.
And that's another good point, B. If somebody did it on purpose, thinking that it would just make her really, really sick, not expecting it to kill her, that's a huge point, because people are like that. I didn't really want to, well, Sarah Boone, it was done. I did it unintentionally. Her famous last words, it was unintentional. It was unintentional. It was unintentional. Well, guess what? Unintentional became intentional. So
you can poison someone, or someone can be poisoned and it slowly makes them sick.
Yep.
And it can be undetected, like for real, unless they really have a reason to look for it.
Antifreeze is a big one that if you just put little, I shouldn't say this live, but I've read stories where they just little bits and little bits and little bits, and eventually at some point your organs shut down and you're gone. You know what I mean? So the brother was involved in a Jesus.
Friend on friend, friendly fire.
I can't think. Yeah, it was friendly fire. It's a good way to put it. And
I actually remember that happening. It was on the news.
I thought I did too, but I've seen a couple of those happen, so I'm not sure. Accidental shooting.
Yeah, I remember it happening. the police officer, they really give him what for down here.
Yeah, he got.
Like social media did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Very sad though to lose both children. Like that's horrible. Horrible.
Cause to make an arrest.
Kyle, before I let you go, I want to go back to the other child who lost his life because of what is essentially a Tampa police officer not properly securing a gun. That must, I imagine, enrage you when you hear a story like that, right?
Yeah, that's pretty disheartening to hear something like that. And then the fact that a kid was killed because of it, I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah, and it's the word that we use in the law. It's preventable, and it was foreseeable. And we've covered a number of cases like that. You know, the more extreme example could be something like the Crumbly case. But just hearing stories like this, so tragic. And again, my heart, prayers, best wishes go out to this family. They need it. They need it after the death of another one of their family members.
Absolutely. And you know, it's funny you say, you just mentioned predictable is preventable. I literally just posted that on my social media Instagram account today. Predictable is preventable. And in case that guy who, you know, didn't properly store his gun, I mean, that is exactly the definition of that. It shouldn't happen.
And it happens a lot, unfortunately. Kyle Kohberger, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it. And have everybody check out your podcast. Where can they find you? Where can they find it?
Yeah.
No promotion here.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Said it at the beginning. He gets a 1 for.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that out. I hadn't even seen that.
Right. And then this one here. I think you guys may have seen this one. Hold on. Yeah, I think you guys may have. This is a bit horrific, but it made me really sick though.
Oh, yeah.
Born baby in a trash can will soon face trial for her infant son's murder.
I'm sorry about this, but in terms of delivering a baby and it looked like you tried to hide it, you do have to have the police involved.
And nothing was crying. It came out with nothing. The case shocked the nation when then 19-year-old Alexi Traviso was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. At the time, she was a high school cheerleader finishing out her senior year. The moments leading up to Traviso's arrest are all caught on body camera video.
One of the main things that bugged me about this scenario was the way her mother acted about a lot of things. Kind of pissed me off. Mother,
in my opinion, her mom knew.
Thank you. And I.
Yeah, her mom was sketch, wasn't she?
Absolutely, 100%. Yes, and I see. I wasn't the only one thinking that. So.
Nope. And she was a cheerleader, so you got to think. If you were ever in high school and saw a cheerleader or on TV or anywhere, come on. Have you seen pictures of this girl?
Yeah, I mean,
you're going to notice a pregnancy.
You're going to be able to tell 100%. Yeah. Yeah. And this, like I said, these are the type of people that make me nuts because, you know, I got to protect my daughter and she's a spoiled little entitled brat and blah blah blah. That's my thing. And you know, I was so pissed. So
our lawyer wants he makes me want to chew through a 16-penny nail.
I'm saying,
Like, how big is the baby?
It's full term.
What? 9 months? Something was crying.
The baby's dead. Okay, we have him in trauma too, but she killed a kid.
Meanwhile, a Change.org petition to boot the accused murderer off our college campus has reached nearly 30,000 signatures.
I've never seen anything like that, and I pray to God I never see it again.
The story takes us back to January 27th of last year, when then 19-year-old Alexi Traviso was admitted to an Artesia, New Mexico emergency room complaining of back pain. ER staff recount what happened after Traviso was admitted to the hospital, comparing the scene to a bloody massacre.
I was called and to go clean the patient's bathroom in ER around, maybe 2 o'clock or so, I think it was the time, I'm not too sure. So when I went in there, it was a bloody massacre mess.
Can you describe it if possible?
Yeah, there was blood everywhere. There was blood on the floor, on the wall.
Do you remember which wall?
The one behind the toilet, and then the one on the side right here. You know, there's the one where the toilet sits, back of that.
Yeah.
And then on the side.
Where the call button is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And on the floor, everywhere. It was all over the place, all over the floor, because even when I was going into the bathroom, there was blood on coming out of the bathroom on the floor.
Okay.
So it was everywhere.
Okay.
So there's blood coming out of the bathroom? Do you
Yeah,
know how far it went?
footsteps.
Okay.
I think they were the person that was in there, her footsteps.
The footsteps belong to Traviso, who was also seen on security camera video going to and from the bathroom. Hospital surveillance video shows Traviso leave her patient room at 1:38 a.m., waddling toward the bathroom while clutching her back. Traviso remains in the bathroom for 19 minutes as multiple people check in on her.
I knocked on the door and I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yes, I'm fine. I'm just having a hard time going to the bathroom," is what she replied. So I was like, okay.
She said she needed to go have bowel movement, and that's kind of when the whole thing happened. At some point, I went and kind of checked on her, knocked on the door, see if she needed anything. She denied. She said she didn't need anything.
Did you hear anything?
I didn't hear anything.
Flush it, toilet flush?
Yes. After a while, I started hearing. So I probably checked on her 2 to 3 times. I'm not exactly sure. And then I just kept hearing paper towel dispenser and flushing and like the water running. I knocked again. Did she need anything? Denied anything. And then eventually it got to a point where I said, "You need to come out." And I asked the clerk to get the key to unlock the door, because obviously she locked the door to go to the restroom. And whenever we finally had the key to unlock it, she opened it and just kind of walked out.
Did she say anything at that
She didn't
point?
say anything. She was just looking kind of straight past me and went back to the room.
Surveillance video captures that moment as Traviso leaves the bathroom and heads back to her patient room. It was then that hospital staff got a first look at the bloody bathroom.
And all I saw was like blood everywhere, like on the walls, on the toilet. It just looked like a horror film.
At first, hospital staff thought Traviso may have hurt herself or suffered from a miscarriage.
We didn't know what this blood was from. We were a little concerned that maybe she had, known that we were going to figure it out and that she might have harmed herself or something in the restroom, so the doc wanted to go check her, but obviously that wasn't the case.
When she came out of the restroom, there was a little trail of blood from the bathroom back to her room. We went to her room. I went to get her undressed. The doctor came in, explained to her that she had a miscarriage. Her and her mom had a back and forth about it.
The doctor said she had a miscarriage?
Yeah.
Okay.
She said it seems essentially, I'm not sure the exact words, so it was a few months ago, but she said, it seems that you've suffered from a miscarriage, which didn't seem totally abnormal. I've seen awful miscarriages before, they're very bloody. And so.
Was she bloody?
Mm-hmm.
Like
And then
her
there was,
legs? And
yeah, she had blood all down her legs, and then there was blood in the bathroom everywhere. So.
Where exactly was the blood and how much?
It was a good amount. It was on the floor.
But when staff begin to clean the bathroom, they find something much more nefarious.
When I went to go through the trash, I felt that when I picked up the trash and I looked in it, there was trash in it. I knew that it felt like when I picked it up, it was some weight. So I thought it was the trash bags, because we put the trash bags on the bottom. And so I started getting the trash out. And then when I did that, I seen that there was a baby in there. And that's when I freaked out and I called Lori and HT, or the nurses up front. And because there was a baby in the trash. And the baby, when I looked at it, the baby was wrapped up like in like in the bottom of the trash can, and with trash on top of it.
Can you describe the baby?
Yeah, he was about that big. He had hair, and he was like purplish, but still not like pink. I don't know how to describe it. He wasn't bruised or nothing like that, and he was like purple, pink skin type color.
Okay.
How was the bag? How was the bag placed, or what?
It was like she wrapped it around like that, and then wrapped it like under him, and then put him on the bottom of it.
Okay. And was the baby moving at all?
No.
Okay. Did you touch him at all?
No.
So when I picked it up and I moved it towards the door, I was like, it is heavy. So I pulled it out because it had like a fresh liner inside. So we didn't think nothing of it because we looked. So when I pulled the liner out, there was like paper towels, and we had rolled trash bags already in there. But she had grabbed a few and I folded them up and put them on top of him. So when I removed them, that's when I noticed the baby on the bottom of the trash can, just wrapped in the bag. Like she had it tight, because it was the top was twisted and then tucked under, so it wouldn't open up. And when I picked it up, that's when I noticed it even more, because all I saw was black and purple. But once we picked it up, the bag suctioned to his face, and that's when I yelled for my charge nurse, which was HT, and I told him, "Hey, she put her baby in."
Oh my God. I just realized something. When I first saw this, I took this as if the baby was stillborn and she was just trying to hide it.
No.
No, this baby was full term.
And she unalived the baby in the bathroom. Oh my God. This is fucking
That's why I
way
said
worse.
her lawyer makes me want to chew through a 16-penny nail.
this is way worse than I thought it was. Jesus God, what is wrong with these people? Oh wow. God bless America.
In the trash can. So I handed the baby to him, and he took off to the trauma room and opened up the bag, and then that's when we went and got Dr. Vasquez. To me, I mean, it looked like she had given birth in there and was trying to clean it up. Like, it wasn't that much blood on the floor, but you could tell she was cleaning it up because it was like smeared and somewhat cleaned up a little bit. I usually, when there's like one or two things in the wastebasket, I usually pick it up and take it out, but I didn't that night. And then, like, I've been kicking myself on this because I feel like, you know, if I would have just taken it out, I would have seen it.
Well, no one prepares for that type of thing. You know what I mean? Most people don't act like that. So don't blame yourself for it.
Yeah.
Because it's not a natural thing to do.
I mean, it's just hard because I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother. And I've dealt with death before, but never like this.
Right.
You know, like, it was horrible. The umbilical cord looked like an animal had tore it apart. Like, you know, have you ever eaten string cheese? And, you know, when you twist it, that's how the bottom of the umbilical cord looked. And I just remember it caught my eye, and I was like, God. I was like, this chick really ripped this thing apart. I mean, that's just something I'm never going to forget.
Right.
As soon as the baby was discovered, medical staff immediately sprang into rescue mode, but it was too late.
So I saw the baby in there. So I pulled the baby out, got him on the bed, checked for signs of life. There was absolutely no life whatsoever. I immediately came out of there. After I did that, went into the room where she was performing the vaginal exam, and I immediately told her, you have to come out now. And she came out, and we went into trauma 2, and she reassessed the baby. At that time, between me and Chris and her, we determined, you know, there was no reason for us to begin any life. The baby was completely gone.
At that point, medical staff told Traviso and her mom what they found.
We discovered a dead baby in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. He came out and I didn't know what to do.
Lexi, I told you about this.
I just asked you, baby, to tell me the truth. It was not crying or nothing.
What did you do to it?
Okay, stop right here. Stop. Number one priority, guys. Number one priority is she just had a baby. I don't know if she's delivered the placenta. She's bleeding significantly.
Yeah.
I've spoken to the obstetrician at Loveless. They want her up there as soon as possible.
Early on, Traviso was told that the baby's death would be investigated by law enforcement.
I'm sorry about this, but in terms of delivering a baby and it looked like you tried to hide it, we do have to have the police involved.
And nothing was crying. It came out with nothing.
I know. But the baby's going to have to be taken for autopsy and there'll be an investigator and everything.
At this point, Traviso's mother learns the baby was full term.
Do you guys have, I'm the charge nurse here. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Like, how big is the baby?
It's full term.
What? 9 months? Nothing was crying.
Lexi, have you watched the news of the girls that what they do to their babies and what they go to jail?
Nothing was crying.
She's not even really crying. That's like completely fake.
Yep.
I'm like completely nauseous right now.
Where did you put the baby at? Tell me the truth.
517-836-460.
That came out of your toilet bag. You put it in the bag?
Yes.
In what bag? Why didn't you say anything to us? Do you want to get in trouble for this now? You could get in trouble for this.
Mom, just give it time, okay?
She essentially was scared. She was worried that she was going to get in trouble. She did have a back and forth with her mother that was just about like, they had said, oh, the mom was upset because she had had sex and hadn't told her. So they were going back and forth on that. And then she was just denying it, which was a little wasn't really deniable at that point in time.
Right.
So the patient was denying having sex at this point to her mom.
Yeah, she was trying to state that she was still a virgin.
After she came in from the bathroom.
Let's take a quick break from the story of Alexi Traviso to talk about.
Yeah, Paula, she said it came out and it wasn't crying. It came out, wasn't crying. And I don't believe her at all. She was fake crying. There wasn't not one tear. She was lying. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm so sick over this. I did not realize that's what that was. I thought the baby was deceased when it was born and she just panicked and freaked and was hiding the baby or whatever. Oh my God.
About something important. That's where our sponsor of this news package comes in, truthfinder.com. Here's how in criminal convictions. It goes without saying the pregnancy.
It seemed like she'd been trying to hide this pregnancy from her mother for some time. So if you know you're pregnant, you're not going to continue taking birth control pills. But if you're trying to hide it, you might start taking weight loss medications. That's just kind of what it seemed like in my head.
It just seemed like we were being just deceived from the beginning. Like But that's just my take on it. It seemed like she was very manipulative with us, and it was at least what it seemed like to me. She didn't want you to discover, that she was pregnant, and she wore really baggy clothing. She wouldn't sit still for you. I'm sure she was very uncomfortable too, but yeah, she wouldn't allow you to do it.
But Traviso told an ultrasound tech she didn't know she was pregnant.
I didn't want to have a conversation with her after I was given this information, but she was talking to me, and while I'm trying to get things set up, and she says, I don't know what's going on. She said, I didn't know I was pregnant. I'm a cheerleader. I started gaining a lot of weight. My clothes were tight. I was taking birth control pills. So she said, this didn't make any sense to me. I don't know what to tell you. And I did my scan, and then I left.
Hospital staff said all this seemed like an act.
So my assumption was, she panics because when she was talking to me, she was talking pretty rapid, and she was like, I don't understand. So, was it all mental, psychological? Who knows? But she definitely knew what she was doing and what was doing was wrong, because the way she was talking to me, just stating, I didn't realize I was pregnant, and I'm taking birth control, so I mean, she was panicked, but I didn't see her being in a state of mind where she did not know what she was doing.
Others described their shock at Traviso's emotions after the baby was discovered.
I went in there to talk to the patient and asked her why was the baby in the trash can.
And what did she say?
She said that it just came out of her and she didn't know what to do.
Did they have any comments?
Not one.
Really?
I was really surprised. Not one person asked me about the baby. If it was alive, if it was dead, if it was a boy, if it was a girl. No one asked me anything. She didn't even ask. No, she didn't ask. The only thing she started doing was crying and started talking about she didn't know what to do. Not one.
Now he just lied to them. I'm not trying to take their side, but he just blatantly lied because the mother asked him. He was wearing a red bandana. He was the charge nurse. The mother said, "What was the baby? What is the baby?" Something like that. And he said, "Full term boy," I think he said. Why is this dude lying?
Yeah, she said something about how big was it?
That
and he said full term.
Full term. And I thought she said, what is the baby? And I thought he said boy, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. That's what I thought I heard. Sorry.
I've never seen it. I've delivered multiple babies and I've seen multiple miscarriages, and I've never seen a reaction like that. And I don't even know what to say about that. I've never seen anything like it.
How would you describe the reaction?
I think there was no emotion except for herself, and she really wasn't even crying tears. She was just, and the only thing she was upset about was that I think she was going to be in trouble with her mother. I'm just going to tell you this: I've never ever seen a reaction like that girl. I don't even know what to say about it. There was zero emotion. I don't even know what to say. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen women that are only married or not married, but pregnant for 6 weeks and they lose that baby and they're a mess. You know what I mean? That girl went in that bathroom, made no sounds at all, and the baby came out of her. And I don't even know how she functioned that way to do what she did and with no emotion. I've never seen anything like it.
And it was a pretty good sized baby. Pretty good sized.
It looked term to me.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it was term. I can't tell you that was, but the only thing that upsets me the most is I understand she was scared, and I think her mother had a big dynamic on her, and I understand that. I mean, I think her mother was probably pretty controlling. I don't know that. I'm just speculation. But she gave me no chance to save that baby. I had no chance. And that's not what I do. My job is to save lives. And I had no chance on that baby. She gave me no chance. And we are a facility that you can drop the baby off, no questions asked. You can just leave the baby and go. I don't care, as long as you bring the baby to a safe. We are one of those type of hospitals. So it's hard to fathom what was going on in her mind. I don't know. I've never seen anything like that. And I pray to God I never see it again.
Treviso was ultimately charged with first.
It sounds to me like she had a blatant fear of her mother, per se, or, well, yeah.
Our mother's perception of her.
That is one. Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ.
first-degree murder and tampering with evidence in the second degree. She graduated high school last spring and was admitted into New Mexico State University. Shortly thereafter, a Change.org petition was created to kick Traviso out of the school and get her off campus. Right now, it's at nearly 30,000 signatures. Traviso is due back in court in July for a pretrial hearing, and after that, her jury trial is slated to begin on August 26th. Reporting for Long Crime, I'm Sarah Gillespie.
Wow, that's just.
It's one of those ones that make you question humanity. People ask if they did an abdominal exam on her. She went in with back pain. So boys tend to, when you labor boys, it's usually in your lower back.
Yeah.
Yep. Very true. Very true. Very true.
Sad thing is, it's not the only time that's ever happened with these young girls and these pregnancies.
Yeah, but yeah, and you're right. And you know, I gotta say, I gotta go back to the parenting in some senses with that, because these kids should know they can come to us with anything, no matter what it is, that we're gonna support them. And
Something like that's super huge, and it's no excuse for what she did. A lot of these parents don't make it easy. It's not going to be easy regardless to go
Right.
to your parent with that. I think some make it feel impossible.
That's true. That's very true.
So, you just also got to teach them right from wrong, and human life matters, and
we need to support
all
our
the
children.
things.
Yes. Of course, teaching them right from wrong, supporting them in all, letting them know that whether they make a good decision or bad decision, as a parent, we're going to support them and show them the answer to what they did if it's not a good decision, and we'll get through it together. If it's something that is like that, you don't make decisions like this, though. And that's what it is. I think she seemed like she was literally afraid of her mother, and the mother came at her immediately, like in a disciplinary fashion. I don't know. Well, we don't know what goes on at home, so it's crazy. I haven't heard any more about this Matthew Mockluck, which is a very strange, crazy situation. I don't know if you guys caught. I don't think you guys were in there. So earlier, what Clue did her live, okay, and we were sitting in there, and somebody had sent her a clip of something, and it was a guy that was arrested in Illinois. Here, I'll just show you. I can't describe it. 20 charges he got, and he was extradited back to Hendersonville. Okay.
Yeah.
This is kind of interesting. But it could be nothing at the same time. It could just be a huge coincidence, but damn. There's a lot of coincidences lately. You know what I mean? And so no, damn it. I don't want that. I want. Hold on. I'll get it from over here. It's a very strange situation. Where is it? Here we go. Nope. There we go.
I want to see you, Crimson.
What's that?
Crimson Moon asked if we could see her. We could see you, love.
Oh, yeah, I see you there, hon. Okay. Here we go. All right. So, Hendersonville, Tennessee. A young man from Illinois faces a number of charges in Middle Tennessee related to child sex crimes. The Hendersonville Police Department said it launched an investigation into Matthew Mocklock, 19, for sexual exploitation of a minor. That investigation led to U.S. Marshals executing arrest warrants on Thursday, June 20th, at Mocklock's home in Villa Park, Illinois, with some help from the Villa Park Police Department. And this is him. According to authorities, the charges against Mocklock include 20 counts of especially aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor, 1 count of solicitation of a minor, and 1 count of continuous sexual abuse of a child. So, police announced Wednesday that he's currently being extradited to Sumner County. Hendersonville Police Department encourages parents to closely monitor their children's use of social media platforms and other communication methods. Officials said in a statement, this is due to the increasing trend of sexual predators using social media and phone apps to lure minors into illegal activities. So something went on over social media with this, okay? And a lot of people were trying to understand how he's being extradited back here if he wasn't here to begin with. And I think that's it right there. Somebody said cyber crimes are different than physical crime. I don't think it is.
No, wait, no.
I don't think it is.
He had to commit. So I've already know about this story, but he has to commit a crime in that county and have an active warrant out of that county to be extradited back to that county.
So you think he was in Hendersonville at some point?
Physically? Yes.
Okay.
There would be no reason, if it was just a cybercrime situation, that we wouldn't be even knowing about all this right now. They would, okay, like say if he committed a cybercrime in Illinois, but he reached somebody in that county, and Sumner County, they're not going to extradite him to Sumner County. That the crime was originated where he was at, right? So no, if they extraditing him back to that county, he committed a crime in that county, and there's a warrant for his arrest out of that county.
Okay. See, I wasn't sure how that had to work, and I see that they're relating this, telling people.
I see that.
Social media, blah,
Why?
blah, blah.
You won't. Okay, so with the the charges out of Illinois, where they already, what's made them go say that particular stuff? That's what I'm wondering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting, and it's interesting how they found it, because we do know. This is what came to my mind when it was being talked about, that there's another case going on right now in Sumner County that has a lot of higher level agencies investigating digital evidence, looking through things for things. And is that possibly how they found him? I'm not saying it has to be related to that case, but if you're looking through different applications, I guess we'll say, you know what I mean? And maybe came upon somebody else. Not that it was related to that situation, but am I making sense?
Yes, you're making sense.
Okay, as long as you guys know what I'm trying to say, I'm saying it didn't necessarily have to be related to Sebastian's case, but with what they were looking through, maybe they caught like, whoa, what's this? You know what I'm saying?
I can't think of the name of the program, but it's I think it's called Scorpion, and it crawls the web and it looks for keywords and it looks for different things that match IP addresses and things like that.
Right. That's kind of what I was talking about.
Scorpion. It's out of Canada, and it's an amazing program. But it like surfs the web nonstop. It's an AI program.
Well, I'm just saying I wasn't saying, I don't want anybody to think I'm saying that I believe wholeheartedly that this is related to Sebastian's case, but I do believe there's a possibility that while Sebastian's case was being investigated, they may have come upon this guy, is what I mean. So,
he would have had to commit a crime in Sumner County to be extradited. He was already under investigation, and for some reason, he went to the Illinois area. That's just happened to be where he was when they arrested him. And
Right.
now they're bringing him back to the county to face the charges. I want to get my hands on the probable cause affidavit for arrest.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting for sure.
If
Definitely.
you look at the keyword alone, solicitation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Those
That's
words.
like if you solicit, I'm just using this for instance, but if you solicit a prostitute, that is a crime.
Yeah.
Just for context.
Well, 20 counts of especially aggravated sexual exploitation. Then of a minor, that's one minor, and then 1 count of solicitation of that same minor. I was trying to put this together and I'm thinking, okay, then there's 1 count of continuous sexual abuse of a child. So this is all one child I'm taking, but there's multiple different variations. So I wonder if it was, somebody said they wondered if I don't know. I don't know. It's getting late now, but my brain's starting to mix up a little.
I'd have to read the whole document to get a better understanding of it.
Yeah.
And then I can figure something out. But until then,
It's crazy though that here we are back in Hendersonville. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, Jesus God, Tennessee's had enough already, guys.
Hey, I had to hear all the damn Florida jokes for what years? The Florida man this, the Florida that, the Florida. Oh, come on.
I get it.
I'm like, I'm not even. Jeez.
He's a puke.
I didn't get my feelings hurt like that. I'm teasing, Dago.
He's a puke. He is a puke. I can't stand looking at these people that do this shit.
Yeah, and there was another one arrested. And guess where he was arrested? Delphi.
Jesus, surprise. I mean, these
And that's one thing I haven't even hit you up about yet. It's interesting.
It is very interesting.
So.
Oh, they didn't take it down. I thought they did. I couldn't find it. Yeah, folks, I'm burnt out for the night. I think it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for joining me again. I put Kimber hours ago, I think an hour ago. So I think she comes in here to go to sleep at this point.
I don't know.
It is what it is. It is what it is. So thank you, ladies, again for joining me. I will see you.
Thank you.
Sometime
Thanks
tomorrow.
for having us. Good night, chat.
Good night, y'all.
Yes. Have a great night. All of you awesome peeps in chat, thank you guys for joining me again for another late nighter. I appreciate it. I hope you guys didn't get too awful bored in here. Like I said, with these late night things, I kind of just try to throw things out that we either didn't see, have seen, could talk about, little, you know what I mean? Just interesting stuff. And I enjoy these. I do, because I don't get to see a lot of you guys during the day, and then some of you guys I do, but it gives us, a double dose of it. So, and we can kind of relax a little bit later in these late ones, and I enjoy that. So thank you all very much once again for joining me. I appreciate you guys so very much. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening. I will be here tomorrow, 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to get rolling for the Kohberger hearing. So anybody that's following the Idaho 4 case, make sure you're here. Of course, I'll post it like I always do, and I hope to see you all tomorrow around that time. Have a wonderful rest of your night, guys. Don't forget to love yourselves, love each other, and don't change a thing about yourselves, because you're amazing. And I will... Yeah, sorry. I just was looking at something. Again, have a wonderful night, folks. Much love to every one of you guys. Good night and God bless. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.